Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Lakeside Stadium and, of course, to the 2019 Coles Athletics Victoria State Track and Field Championships. We hope you've enjoyed your afternoon in a very warm Melbourne. And if you're watching around Victoria, Australia, or around the world, a very big welcome to you. Just about to get underway in the track events at 7 o'clock, which will be the start of the 400-metre preliminary rounds. Joining me in commentary a little later will be Tim Crosby. Our field events are already underway. We have a plethora of pole vault, we have triple jump, and we also have some javelin starting. But we do have our field. The under-14 women are getting ready for the first of two heats in the preliminary rounds. Some great action earlier today with the finals of the steeplechase. If you caught any of the action, thank you very much for supporting us. Head to our YouTube page for individual clips. And, of course, we will be posting results up on our Facebook page. We've had a nasty incident with our AV webpage, which unfortunately is now corrupt, and we're rebuilding from scratch. But we're not going to let that dampen our attitude. We've got some great racing. We hope you enjoy the evening with us from wherever you are watching on Facebook or YouTube. So just getting ready with the first of our under-14 heats. We'll introduce the field very shortly. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to commence our 400-metre preliminary rounds. We'll start with our under-14 girls and work our way right up to the open men and women's semi-finals. Joining me in commentary, of course, is Tim Crosby. We welcome you again to our evening session. Let's introduce the first of two heats in the girls under-14. Just a reminder, the top three finishers in each heat and the next fastest two will proceed to the final tomorrow. Lane number 3 from Frankston, we welcome Hayley Meddings. In lane 4 from Mornington Peninsula, Declan Tanner. Lane number 5 from Old Melburnians is Sienna Farrell. Lane 6 from Bellarine is Erin Foley. Lane 7 from Corio is Caitlin Charles. And in lane number 8 from Sandringham is Thanya Vijayakumar. So that's the field for heat number 1. So welcome back to an air conditioning box, Tim. You've been out doing the men's open discus. It looked like a whole heap of fun.
Certainly was. It was a great competition out there. We had a brand new Victorian champion, Nick Dyson, got out beyond the 51 metre range. Declan Carman, the youngster from Doncaster, led through to about round 4. But then it was Dyson who came through.
So just a reminder to everyone, we're about to start our circular events, particularly in the jumps. If you can make sure, please, that the circular track is nice and clear. Sorry, Tim. There's a mixture of venue announcements as well as
it's a
our
busy
obligations.
place up here, and we've got the girls on the line now for this first of the 400s, the under-14s.
So we do have 12 starters in the 400 metres, so that'll be whittled down to 8, the top 3 in each heat and the next fastest 2. So it looks like we're ready to go. Given the all clear to our competition director, we have introduced the field.
Conditions out there actually quite nice too. The wind is down, it's warm, but as we're seeing, the shadows are creeping across Lakeside Stadium, which will take the sting out of the sun somewhat, and I think we're going to be treated to a pretty good night of 400s, Glenn. So a big program tonight, Glenn, of 400s. That's the only track action we've got.
Looking forward to the one lapper. Bit of a favourite of mine, Tim. But we start off with the under-14 girls.
As they say, once you've done one lap, you don't need to see any more.
I think we'll hand over to our starter. So the first of our heat underway from the inside, Meddings from Frankston, then Tanner, Farrell, Foley, Charles and Vijayakumar. So Foley probably the best to get going from Bellarine, moving well down the back straight. We've seen the wind gust throughout the afternoon, but it's beautifully still at the moment, so very good for our one-lap preliminary rounds. So heading through the first 200 in around 26.5 seconds, you can see Thanya Vijayamakumar from Sandringham on the outside being challenged by Erin Foley from Bellarine. So they head for home with 120 to go through the plethora of marquees which have been keeping everyone nice and cool today.
And I think that's Farrell out
Sorry,
front
that's
at the
Sienna
moment.
Farrell from Old Melburnians. My apologies. On the inside, Declan Tanner from Mornington. So Farrell doing a great job in taking out this first heat. Declan Tanner from Mornington. Peninsula finishing well. Erin Foley from Bellarine will be in the first three. So 59-57 unofficially for the first heat of the under 14 girls 400. Well, Tim, didn't do a good job of that, did I? Certainly took some away from Sienna Farrell.
Yeah, well, it's all in the uniforms, and Ballerina are the bright red, so that was the showcase for me. But yeah, good run there by Farrell. I think the clock on the infield was slightly out. I don't think she broke 60, but she wasn't too far off at Farrell. We'll wait for official times, but safely through nonetheless.
So 60.75, it wasn't that far off. So good run for young Sienna Farrell from Old Melburnians to take out heat number one. So in the second heat, the under 14 girls 400 metres. In lane number 3 from Western Athletics, we welcome Emily Mifsud. Lane 4 from Athletics Essendon is Hazel Lockwood. Lane 5 from Sandringham is Amber Van Eady. 6 from Athletics Underwating is Natasha Kindler. 7 from South Bendigo is Scarlett Southern. And in lane number 8 from Athletics Chua is Tegan Zurawell. That's the field for heat number 2.
Yep.
So the second heat getting ready to go. So again, like the first, we'll let the heat play out and see how our candidates go in heat number 2. So all the way safely from the outside, Zerawell from Athletics Chilwell. Kindler from Nunawading, the best to get going, just past Scarlett Southern from South Bendigo in the red. So Natasha Kindler from Athletics Nunawading doing well down the back straight. Also Amber Van Eade from Sandringham chasing her as well. So 2 green outfits. So Kindler from Nunawading, the best after the first 200 metres. Van Eade running well from Sandringham. And it's the first 3, as we've mentioned, and we'll keep on mentioning it in the next fastest 2 to qualify for the final in this under 14 girls 400 metres. So the battle will be between Natasha Kindler, Van Eade from Sandringham.
A lot of interest in that third spot though, Glenn.
Yeah, that's true. Coming up in the inside, Hazel Lockwood from Athletics Essendon being challenged by Scarlett Southern. Scarlett in front at this stage. So Kindler Van Eade and a good run from Scarlett Southern from South Bendigo, just ahead of Hazel Lockwood, Tegan Zerawell and Emily Mifsford. That rounds out the second of 2 heats in the girls under 14 400. So first of our younger age groups in the under 14.
Yeah, always difficult with the under 14s, isn't it? Because we often don't know a lot about these girls and don't have a lot of form on them. But some good running. That first heat in particular, I did like that run from Farrell. So just went out right from the gun and set a cracking pace. The Kindler, the Nunawading runner, I think she'll go quicker when she's got someone close to her. So this could be a very good final.
So next event will be the under 15 women's 400 metres. We have 2 heats, but we're heading to the pole vault. So that's Tess Parry from Box Hill competing in the under 15 girls pole vault. So the bar's at 250. Simultaneously, we have one of our athletes from Athletics Chilwell in the boys competition. So Campbell Braden from Chilwell. We have 5 competitors from Chilwell in the under-15 boys competition. So still early stages, 240 on the girls and 250 in the boys competition. And Sophia Armstrong in the girls. So our next event on the track will be the first of 2 heats of the under-15 girls 400 metres. Top 3 in each heat, and the next fastest 2 will proceed to the final. The Victorian records held by Tamsis Lewis Manu. We'll get it out there. 54.84, and she said that in 1993. In lane number 3 from Athletics Jewel was Hannah Brady. Lane 4 from Box Hill is Shavella Tan Barata. In lane 5 from Sandringham, Mia Skerry. In lane 6 from Geelong, Sienna Wrench. Lane 7 from South Bendigo is Mackenzie Southern. That's the field for heat number 1. So, Tim, your pick's got to be Mia Skerry in this. She's had a good summer season so far, very consistent. She's run heaps of 4s and 8s.
Yeah, but Tana Brata, the Box Hill runner, she's been out and conspicuous as well. So we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, it's Skerry, class athlete.
So this field of 5, Sienna Wrench from Geelong, the fastest. Going with her is Mia Skerry from Sandringham. So out in front you have Skerry on the inside, Wrench from Geelong on the outside, and then it'll be back to Tanu Brata from Box Hill. So Mia Skerry setting the pace in the first 176.3 metres of this 400. Sienna Wrench, tough run on the outside, but she's definitely in contention to finish in the top 3 at this stage. Chevelle, Tanu Brata from Box Hill. So at the moment, they're the 1, 2, 3 that will progress.
We'll just see whether Skerry really puts it on or just eases off in this last 100. The top 3 look settled, don't they, Glenn?
So Mia Skerry turns for home. Very relaxed stride. She'll head it into the finish line looking very comfortable. Finishing well is Tanu Brata from Box Hill. She'll move into second, but those 3 will progress automatically. So Mia Skerry, Tanu Brata and Sienna Wrench from Geelong. Unofficially just under 60, but a good finish too from Hannah Brady from Athletics Jewel, and also from Mackenzie Southern from South Bendigo, finishing off her 400 metre heat right through the line.
Yeah, she gave a lot to that and was pretty exhausted at the end, but she has been running 800, so she's got the strength and the endurance, but potentially not just that top end speed. And we saw it from Skerry, the way she took off. It was just a beautiful start.
So heat number 2 are behind their blocks, a field of 4. So lane number 4 from Sandringham is Zoe Billsborough. Lane number 5 from Yarra Rangers is Kiara Flavelle. Lane number 6 from Mentone, Hannah Wilcox. And lane number 7 from Casey Cardini is Maya Nemo. That's the field for heat 2. So it's always a tough one when you have 9 check-in.
Yes.
And you have an 8-lane track and you're running around just to effectively pick your top 8, but this will be good experience.
It is good experience as they go towards nationals, and that's why you don't want to shirk on this, and it teaches them what to do.
Yep. So this second heat underway from the inside from Sandringham, Zoe Billsborough. Next to her from Yarra Rangers, Kiara Flavelle. Hannah Wilcox from Mentone is the best to get going so far, and Maya Nemo from Casey. So Wilcox, very strong down the back straight in the blue socks and the stripe of Mentone, being challenged by Kiara Flavelle from Yarra Rangers. Zoe Billsborough is putting herself in contention in the first 200 metres as well. So the top 3 and even the 4th athlete, subject to this being the faster heat, all 4 of these young girls could proceed to the final, but they head for home. It's been a good run by Flavelle from Yarra Rangers. Hannah Wilcox is still in contention on the inside, Billsborough as well, but Flavelle will turn for home. Wilcox moving into second place, but this is going to be about the speed or the time for this heat to make sure all 4 girls can get through. So Flavel switches.
I think they're all pretty safe because they're going to go through just on the 60-second mark, and I think all 4 will proceed through to the final.
Perfect. Now let's head down to Ross Cunningham for the next medal presentation.
Thanks, Glenn. Presentation now for the under-16 women's ambulant discus, and receiving the silver medal with a throw of 22 metres 33 from Doncaster Athletic Club, Abby Gartland. And receiving the gold medal with a throw of 20 metres 99 from Ringwood Athletic Club, Ella Hose. So big congratulations to Ella and Abby and the ambulant discus under-16 women. So next up is the under-14 women's ambulant discus presentation, receiving the gold medal with a throw of 12 metres 79 from Athletics Waverley, Anila Broto Johansson. So congratulations to Anila there and the under-14 women. So next up is the under-20 men ambulant discus, and receiving the gold medal with a throw of 80 metres 38 from Old Zavarians, Nelson Gray. Presentation now for the under-16 men's ambulant discus, and receiving the gold medal with a throw of 60 metres 68 from Wellington, Jake Perrott. And in the under-20 women's ambulant discus, receiving the gold medal with a throw of 14 metres 06 from Old Zavarians, Chelsea Haig Witherden. So big congratulations to Chelsea, also to Jake, to Nelson, to Anelia, Ella and Abby in the ambulant discus throw.
Thanks to Ross Cunningham. Let's head back to the pole vault. So we're still in the preliminary rounds. 2 metres 50 is the bar. It's in the women's competition. So we're running women's and men's side by side. So this is Tess Parry from Box Hill. So we've moved reasonably quickly. The bar started at 140. That doesn't necessarily mean that our jumpers would have elected to be on that. The bar's at bars on 250. And in the boys' competition, the bar's at 265. So Parry, good clearance, good push off. Also white flag, most important, so she clears it. I think it's her second attempt. Either way, it's been a good clearance from the athlete from Box Hill. So on the runway is Victoria Pope Silva from Geelong Guild. Her attempt at 2 metres 50. So unfortunately red flag for our athlete from Geelong Guild, Victoria Papa Silva. As our cameraman moves to the boys' competition. A good clearance from the young man from Athletics Chilwell, which is Oliver Bradshaw. Famous Bradshaw name, of course, Chris Bradshaw, Australian decathlete representative for Victoria, and also team doctor to the 1988 World Junior Track and Field Championships, but we won't talk about that, will we, Tim? Let's turn our attention to the next event on the track.
Now let's leave the past in the past.
So next event, ladies and gentlemen, will be the first of 2 heats of the boys under 15 400 metres. The first 3 place getters in each heat, the next 2 fastest will proceed to the final. Heat number 1 in lane 3, representing Maccabi, is Jaden Donner. In lane 4 from Western Athletics is Blake Kelly. Lane 5 for Wendouree, Will Barbary. Lane 6 from Wellington is Finn Staple. Lane 7 from Mornington Peninsula, Ethan Godding. That's the field for the first of 2 heats in the under 15 boys 400. So again, another small field in heat number 1.
Yeah, 5 starters, but yet again, they're getting the experience to go through the rounds, and going to nationals, they're not going to be shirking rounds there.
Not complaining. We've got 10 starters, so only 8 will proceed to the final.
Plus good conditions tonight too, Glenn, and I think we're going to see some pretty good times from these kids.
So our first of 2 heats are away on the outside. You have Godding from Mornington Peninsula in the orange. Next to him is Staple from Wellington. Moving through the field, Will Barbary from Wendouree setting the pace down the back straight. Blake Kelly from Western A's is currently 4th, and Jaden Donner from Maccabi. So it is the athlete from Wendouree, Will Barbary, really striding out in the first 200 metres, setting this heat up very well. On his outside, Finn Staple from Wellington moving into 2nd, and Blake Kelly from Western A's moving into 3rd. But at the moment, it's all Barbary. So he turns for home with just over 100 metres to go. Blake Kelly from Western A's will move into 2nd. It is the first 3, but this has been a very controlled and relaxed heat from the young man from Wendouree, Will Barbary. Blake will move into 2nd, or Blake Kelly, sorry, will move into 2nd, and Finn Staple from Wellington. That's how they'll finished. Not a bad time, around 55 seconds. Blake Kelly 2nd, Finn Staple 3rd, followed by Ethan Godding, and a good run from Jaden Donner from Maccabi to complete heat number 1 of the under 15 boys 400.
So a very smooth mover there, Barbary, wasn't he? I was very impressed. He did a bit of a surge just after 200 just to make sure he had it, and then eased down in that last 100, Glenn. But gee, he just looked very comfortable out there.
Yep, set it up in the first 180 as we said. There's our young Bradshaw Oliver, athlete number 3442, competing in the boys pole vault. So you see in the background the bar's now at 265. So still a number of competitors. You can see them lining up there. So Tom Coughlin from St Kevin's gets the white flag at 265. So we head back to the track. Heat number 2 are locked and loaded. In lane 3 from Mornington Peninsula, we have Charlie Kyberd. Lane 4 from Geelong, Harvey Mason. Lane 5 from St Kevin's, Jacob McGeer. Lane 6 from Western Athletics is Jai Lever. Lane 7 from Collingwood is Guy Fricky. So that is the field for heat number 2. Mr. Starter, all yours. So anyone in this heat take your eye, Tim?
Yeah, McGurr has been running consistently through the season, so could be one to watch. Geelong Guild, anytime you see someone in the Geelong Guild uniform, you've got to take notice now, Glenn. They're running so well.
So this second heat underway from the inside in the orange strip of Mornington Peninsula, Charlie Kyberd. Then Harvey Mason from Geelong Guild. Out fast, McGurr from St Kevin's. Also Lever from Western A's, who's already up and past Frick from Collingwood. So the 2 gentlemen, Jai Lever from Western A's, Jacob McGurr from St Kevin's, down the back straight at this stage. Starting to make a move alongside the young man from Mornington Peninsula is Harvey Mason. So Charlie Kyberd and Harvey Mason using the stagger well. But out in front, we have Lever and McGurr. Mason slowly moving into 3rd. So it's been a good run from both these athletes out in front. Jacob McGurr will turn for home. Jai Lever from Western A's will move into 2nd. And here comes Mason from Geelong. It's a good run from the young athlete from St Kevin's, Jacob McGurr. He'll take out this heat looking very comfortable. Great run also from Jai Lever. He'll finish second. Harvey Mason third. Guy Fricky from Collingwood and Charlie Kybird. That's heat number 2. A lot to talk about in that one, Tim. You were right.
Yeah, McGurr just controlled that once again. Mason left a lot of work to do. He just didn't get off fast there and had to try and work down onto Lever. But Lever did what he could. So, as you can see, we're now moving back to the pole vault action, which is very busy out there at the moment, Glenn. Lots of movement.
So we've got 4 age groups, 2 pits, under 14s and under.
So 265 still on that boys comp. I'll just try and pick up. It's a Box Hill athlete. Could be Suarez potentially. Certainly is Johnny Suarez. I think he's under, and they're moving to 275 as we can see them adjusting the board. And Johnny Suarez under Mark Stewart, the famous Box Hill Club, the producer of champions. So Suarez, we've seen him throughout the season consistently vaulting, doing very well in his age group, and he's got the Victorian shorts on there, Glenn, so he'll be wearing those. I'm not sure if that's quite legal with his Box Hill comp uniform, but he's very proud to be wearing the big V pants there, and he does look good in them. And Suarez will be going to the national champs, I've no doubt. As we can see in the background too, the 2 Chilwell boys having a bit of a chat. That Geelong pole vault program is going exceedingly well too. We're seeing so many of the Geelong clubs getting involved there. Some great coaching. Hamish Nelson's part of that. So back now for the 400s, and next event will be the under 16 women, Glenn.
Yeah, just going through some of the final briefings into lane order, down at the holding pen before the 400. Of course, you are watching the 2019 Coles Athletics Victoria State Track and Field Championships. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. It's certainly our pleasure to bring it to you. So we head right through to 9:35 this evening, and then we're back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, starting with all of our short hurdle finals. So this is weekend 1 and 2. And let's head to a special presentation made by one of our own, David Armstrong.
At championships, to make sure you get to compete, friends get to watch, or you get to be coached, do the following after arrival at the venue. Sign in for your event. Warm up. Go to the call room. And then finally, compete. These are the 4 steps to remember, so you won't be excluded from your event. As soon as you arrive, go to the athlete check-in room and sign in for your event of that day of competition. Sign-in closes 1 hour before the advertised event start time. Then you can warm up for your event. While you are warming up, the sign-in sheets are processed by administration to allocate heats and generate the paperwork for call room, photo finish, the announcer and all the officials at the event. Report to the call room by the required minutes before your event. Not all times are the same. At the call room you are checked for correct uniform and bib numbers. Bib numbers are distributed for circular events. And you must be correctly attired.
Oh, you can't come in until you've got your top on. This is field of play. You must have your uniform on. So if you go outside, please put it on.
From the call room you are then taken to your event, where identity checks are made one last time. And then finally, you get to compete. So remember these 4 steps. Sign in, warm up, call room, compete, and enjoy your competition.
Well, if you were going to have a presentation video of what to do at a track and field championships, David Armstrong has absolutely nailed it. Hope you understand what happens, and it gives you a bit of an inside look, Tim.
Yeah, just SWCC, Glenn.
Outside from Caro, Ella Rayson. From Glen Huntley, Sophia Hanlon. Charlie Power from Box Hill. We have Eve Parry and Charlie Merrick. So reasonably even in the first part of this race. Racing on the outside, being challenged by Hanlon from Glen Huntley. In the middle, Charlie Power starting to wind up as well. So you can see the athlete from Glen Huntley, Sophia Hanlon. Charlie Power from Box Hill and Eve Parry. So the girls will turn for home with about 110.5 metres in this event. So Hanlon being challenged by Power and Parry. So Hanlon on the outside at this stage will take out this heat. Starts to pull away. Doesn't really matter. The first three will automatically progress. So Sophia Hanlon from Glen Huntley, followed by Charlie Power, will be second. Eve Parry from Box Hill will be third, followed by Ella Rayson from Corio will finish in fourth in this heat, and Charlie Merrick from Diamond Valley. So, interesting heat again. They're running some pretty educated and tactical races, Tim, in these preliminary rounds. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Brown go up against the likes of Hanlon there. Hanlon, I thought was going to get challenged by the two Box Hill athletes, but certainly pulled away in that final 100 metres, looked impressive. I'm not sure whether Parry and Powell thought that they just had it in the box and they just didn't have to push through, but Nia Brown's race in that first heat was impressive, and if she turns it on the first 200, it could be strong. Ready, guys? Right, you have volume, Ross, all yours.
So presentation now for the women's under-18 triple jump. Receiving the bronze medal with a jump of 11 metres 18 from Geelong Guild, Taylor Sobb. And receiving the silver medal with a jump of 11 metres 63 from Glen Huntley, Isabella Harper. And our gold medalist with a jump of 11 metres 92 from Athletics Essendon, Ruby Pizzo. So big congratulations to Ruby, to Isabella and to Taylor in the women's under-18 triple jump.
So thanks Ross Cunningham, our Master of Ceremonies. So back to pole vault. So certainly lots happening here at Lakeside Stadium.
So they're just changing the height now.
And the uprights, yep.
Yeah, so 285 is what it's going to.
And 290.
290 on the other side, and that's for the girls' comp.
So just been told in the men's semi-finals of the Open 400 that Will Johns has had to withdraw due to a hamstring injury, which is sad to see, one of our favourites.
Big shame, very big shame.
So we hope Will has a speedy recovery.
And makes his way to Nationals.
We received his doctor's certificate who sets out his medical condition, and they're erring on the side of caution. So we send our best to Will. Look forward to seeing him back here next weekend if he chooses to run in the 200 metres.
So we can see Suarez getting ready to go at this new height, the 285. In the women's, it's a Diamond Valley uniform there, Glenn, so any chance we can identify that one? It's very hard without the front number.
Should be Elsie Clifford.
I wonder, in relation to Jared. So, but an incomplete there. So Suarez next up for the boys at 285.
So Elsie Clifford, younger sister of Jared Clifford. I'm not sure, Tim, but there seems to be quite a few members of Diamond Valley on this production team today, making sure that We provide everyone with the up-to-date statistics, facts, figures, you name it, they're in for it.
Yes.
Special page to Rob Wendell, one of our committee members from Diamond Valley as well.
They are everywhere, the Diamond Valley people, and doing a tremendous job for our sport.
Of course, the video that you saw was shot by David Armstrong, who put that together from yesterday and today. And on a serious note, it actually is a great video for particularly our younger participants who have never...
Don't worry about the older ones too. They often forget about it. Let's not mention DJ Gebrselassie.
We should perhaps use it at the National Masters and the State Masters competition to remind everyone about the process.
Sometimes the kids are much better with their processes than the older athletes.
But it's a great acronym, so thank you to...
SWCC, remember it. Sign in, warm up. Call room, compete.
So results on the scoreboard for the under-16 women's 400.
So Skirk there is the final finalist there, with Hanlon and Brown the two top seeds.
So interesting, this next race, one of my favourite athletes, Gus Simpfendorfer from St Kevin's. He was fined about 2 years ago at the All Schools Championships as an under-14 athlete. He prefers to play football and still plays football. And he's been to the National All Schools. He's won, I think, a number of national medals. As you see, Chris Bradshaw coaching his young son, Oliver. Great shot of the podium. And we'll head back to the 400 metres and we'll introduce the field. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce the first of two heats of the boys under 16 400 metres. Heat number 1 in lane 2 from Old Scotch, we welcome Robert Barber. Lane 3 from Western Athletics, Ryan Braithwaite. In lane 4, the defending champion in the under-15 category in this event last year, from St Kevin's, Gus Simpfendorfer. Lane 5 from Ballarat Harriers, Jake Ashmore. 6 from Mentone, Thomas Byrne. 7 from Wyndham Track and Field, Gyan Singh. And in lane 8 from Western Athletics, Jalen Jamangle. So that is the field for heat number 1. A reminder, the first 3 place getters in each heat, the next 2 fastest across the 2 heats will proceed to the final. Good observation, Tim. We have a DNS in lane 7, so no Gyan Singh from Wyndham Track and Field. So the field now down to 6. On the outside, Jalen Jamangle from Western A's, Thomas Byrne from Mentone moving out, and so is Gus Simpfendorfer from St Kevin's in the yellow. So he's past Jake Ashmore from Ballarat on his outside. So Simpfendorfer's setting up this race. Really powering well in the first 200. On his outside, Ashmore from Ballarat going with him. Also from Western A's, Ryan Braithwaite. So they will turn for home. Simpfendorfer will lead them in. Braithwaite probably the best to move in to second place. And then on the outside of Simpfendorfer is Jake Ashmore from Ballarat. So Simpfendorfer drops to a stride. He'll let Ryan Braithwaite from Western A's. So Braithwaite will take out this heat. Simpfendorfer drops to a trot. Jake Ashmore does the same. So those 3 will automatically progress. Thomas Byrne from Mentone finishing fast to make sure he is in contention. Robert Barber from Old Scotch and Jalen Jamangle from Western A's. That rounds out heat number 1.
Interesting tactic there from Simpfendorfer, because you've also got to be mindful of your lane draw as well, and it's always handy to finish right up there in the heats. Yeah,
I was about to say the same thing. It reminds me of Tamsin Lewis Manu, who a couple of years ago raced over the Open 400 and finished first in her heat, but wound down, and so therefore it affected her lane draw. So she's in one of the outside lanes for the final.
So presentation. So presentation now for the women's under-14 pole vault, and receiving the silver medal with a vault jump of 2 meters 30 from Bellarine Athletics, Sophia Armstrong. And receiving the gold medal with a jump of 2 meters 40 from Geelong Guild, Victoria Papasilva. So congratulations to Victoria and Sophia in the women's under 14 pole vault competition.
So just about to get ready for heat number 2. So ladies and gentlemen, the next heat, heat number 2, full field of 8. In lane number 1 from Sandringham is Ben Horsey. In lane 2 from Keelos and Burnley, Stefanis from the under 15 400 last year, and Zach Parika. In lane 3 from Mentone, our bronze medalist from the under 15s last year, Tom Wilcox. Lane 4 from Williamstown, the silver medalist from last year's event, Matthew Payne. Lane 5 from Eaglehawk, a finalist from last year, James Bentley. Lane 6 from St Kevin's, William Tanner. And 7 from Sandringham, also a finalist in the 400 and the under 15s, Julian Horsey. And in lane 8 from Maccabi, Ryan Herman. That's the field for the second heat, the under 16 boys. So, Tim, a pretty stacked second heat.
This is a very good heat.
So we've got 5 of the finalists, including the silver and bronze medalist. So this is going to be an exciting race, a full field of 8, particularly with a number of the athletes finishing 2nd and 3rd from the under 15 age group last year. But already James Bentley running well in the middle of the pack on the outside. Ryan Herman from Maccabi. It's tough running in lane 8, but he's doing a great job. Matthew Payne from Williamstown starting to move through on the stagger. So you can see Matthew Payne starting to make a move on James Bentley from Eaglehawk. Also on the inside, finishing well, Tom Wilcox needs to get a wriggle on to move into the automatic 3 places. But James Bentley from Eaglehawk, Matthew Payne from Williamstown now relaxing. It'll be about the 3rd place. So the 2 gentlemen in front, Bentley and Payne running well. Wilcox will snaffle the 3rd position. He's making sure of that, but a good run from Matthew Payne, James Bentley and Tom Wilcox. And in the meantime, let's head back to our Master of Ceremonies, Ross Cunningham, in presentations.
Thanks, Glenn. Presentation now for the women's under 18 discus throw, and receiving the bronze medal with a throw of 34 metres 74 from Sandringham, Isabella Dingley. And receiving the silver medal with a throw of 35 metres 91 from Western Athletics, Rebecca Sutton. And our gold medalist with a throw of 45 metres from Western Athletics, Alia Kanipa. So well done to Alia, to Rebecca and Isabella in the women's under 18 discus throw.
Big thank you to Ross Cunningham. So good run in that second heat, as you can see. Our next age group heading out to the 400 metre mark, which will be the under 17s.
But yeah, once again, a little bit of horseplay, and Payne sort of just decided to take off towards the end to secure his position. And Horsey on the inside is actually very unlucky. The Sandringham runner, he could have snaffled one of those places with what was going on out front. But no, the top 3 were too good. And Wilcox got his way through as well, the Mentone runner.
And these, just so everyone realises at home, these heats are seeded at random. So all of the times, or the seeded times, come from the athletes when they enter, and if those times are correct, they'll be seeded accordingly. So they are randomised, and with the new seeding rule, there is a requirement to make sure that the top 3 are in separate heats. So it looks like we're getting ready for our next presentation before we head to the boys under 16 400 metres. Let's go down to Ross Cunningham.
Once again, thank you, Glenn. Presentation now for the women's under 17 javelin throw, and receiving the bronze medal with a throw of 33 metres 44 from Athletics Nana Waring, Hannah Hodges. And receiving the silver medal with a throw of 36 metres 75 from Western Athletics, Yara Taylor. And our gold medalist with a throw of 45 metres 31 from Choreo, Mackenzie Milcharek. And that one was especially for Tim, and I do believe it is Carayo. So congratulations to Mackenzie, to Yara and Hannah in the under 17 women's javelin throw.
Are we on?
Oh, he got there in the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. So he's thrown out the choreo just for us. That's what he used to call the Choreo Club before he was educated on Australianese. So, Glenn, we're moving now to the 400 metres for the under-17 women. So, some good names coming up here. Shad Mohammed, one of those.
Yeah, she won this event in the under-16 age group last year. This is another heat packed with finalists. So, Brianna Sherry will run for Casey Cardinia out of 2. She was a finalist. Paige Elvey from Frankston in 5. And Georgia Muller from Western Athletics in 5, along with Shade Mohammed. So, 4 of the young girls in the final of the under-16 400 last year.
And Brianna Sherry not letting us down with the sock choice once again in the fluoro yellow socks, her trademark.
Green.
Great, well, yellow, green, it's all fluoro to me. But just highlighting her sockeny spikes beautifully there though, Glenn. The red clash against the yellow of the socks.
Well, it's certainly a colour combination. I'm leaving the fashion tips to you, Tim. You've got the article in the Herald Sun, so we'll just get on with calling the events.
Loving these start lists coming up now too. Although that was not one of ours. So Shad Mohammed, good performer here. So Paige Elvey will be to the outside of her. Zoe Woods, the Williamstown runner, she'll be in lane 3.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce you to the field for the first of 2 heats of the women's under-17 400 metres. Heat number 1 in lane 2 from Casey. We welcome a finalist from the under-16 event last year, Brianna Sherry. In lane 3 from Williamstown is Zoe Woods. In lane 4 from Frankston, the current under-16 400 metre champion, Shad Mohammed. In lane 5 from Frankston, a finalist from last year, Paige Elvey. Lane 6 from Geelong Guild, Chelsea Klipinski. In 7 from Sandringham is Kundali Powell. And in lane 8, also a finalist from last year from Western Athletics, Georgia Muller. That is the first of 2 heats in the under-17 women's age group.
On your mark.
So the girls looking pretty relaxed as they were setting up their blocks. You were right, Shade Mohammed looking very fit, heading into the first of 2 heats in this under-17.
I'd be surprised if anyone gets really close to her, actually, Glenn. I think she will potentially dominate this heat and do what she wants.
So a field of 7 away in the first of 2 heats already. Shade Mohammed starting to fire up. She's already passed Paige Elvey. She's after Chelsea Klipinski. Then on her outside, Kundali Powell and Georgia Muller. But Shad Mohammed down the back straight already has gobbled up the field after 150 metres. So she's going out for a hard hit out in the first round of this 400 metres. So she's covered the first 200 in about 24 and a half. So Tamsin Lewis's record of 52.90, probably a big ask today, but this will be certainly be a fast time if Shade continues this pace right to the line. So at the moment, Shade Mohammed from Frankston out in front, little distance to second and third where the battle is at the moment. So it'll be Paige Elvey and also on the inside Woods and Sherry. But this has been a great run, worth a big round of applause to Shad Mohammed in the first of 2 heats in the under-17 women's 400 metres. She takes it out. Not bad, just under 56 and a half seconds. Good run from Woods for second. Brianna Sherry will take third. They're the top 3, close for fourth, Elvey Page. But certainly a great run, and congratulations to Shad Mohammed. Wow, wow, and wow. That was a great run, Tim.
It was, wasn't it, Glenn? And just good to see a girl in that age group, the under-17s, just really going forward in the heat stage and just asserting herself. And that was a very good run.
There is a young lady up in Brisbane, if she's watching, called Tamsin Lewis, who is probably screaming at the television going, this is how you run fours. You go out hard and you run them from the front. And it was... I get excited because she's a 16-year-old. Yeah. It was a great effort. She was so confident, and she picked them up at the 150 mark. And
well, and the poise, just coming into the final stretch, she didn't really ease off too much, but you can tell that there is more to come, and that is exciting, Glenn. So 56.6 thereabouts, but gee, there's a few more seconds in that, I think, for Shad Mohammed.
Yeah, she was very relaxed in the last 50 metres. So Tamsin, if you are watching.
Got another one for you to follow.
Exactly, a protege from Frankston, Shad Mohammed. You heard it right here on ASVIC TV at the Coles 2019 Athletics Victoria Track and Field Championships. Just about ready for the second heat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after the excitement of heat number 1, let's focus our attention on heat number 2. In lane 2 from Ringwood, we welcome Ruby Crisp. In lane number 3 from Old Scotch is Murray Campbell. In lane number 4, the bronze medalist from the under 16 event last year from Athletics Chilwell, Cassidy Bradshaw. In lane 5 from Athletics Chilwell, Sky Ellis. In lane 6 from Box Hill, Carla Dreyer. And in lane 7 from Knox, Jasmine Colbert. That's the field for heat number 2. My job is done. It is now over to you, Mr. Starter.
On your mark.
So let's see what Cassidy Bradshaw can do in this heat. She would have seen Mohammed's first heat, and what would she be thinking, Tim?
I've got to go for it, and she will. You know, Cassie's a brave runner.
So our second heat away on the outside, Colbert. Then next to her, Dreyer, Ellis, Bradshaw, Campbell, and Crisp. So Cassidy Bradshaw taking the challenge down the back straight. Running well after the first 150, very reminiscent from Shad Mohammed's heat previously. But she certainly got the field after 195.7 metres. She's run around 26 for the first 200. So Bradshaw, almost a carbon copy of the previous heat. She certainly looked good for the first 300 metres, and she's continuing. So Bradshaw, second will be Ruby Crisp at this stage from Ringwood, but still the battle for the second and third places up for grabs. But it's Sky Ellis from Chilwell that moves into second, being challenged by Carla Dreyer. But a good run also, worth a round of applause from Cassidy Bradshaw to take out heat number 2. Sky Ellis will take second. Carla Dreyer from Box Hill third. Mari Campbell, Ruby Crisp and Jasmine Colbert to round out the second heat in the under-17 girls 400. Well, I think the challenge has been answered. So you predicted well. Good run from Cassidy Bradshaw.
Yeah, and worked out at it. I don't know if she can match Shad Mohammed in that final, though, Glenn. Because Cassidy, this is not her preferred event. She is, the queen of the pole vault at the moment, and it's going to be a hard ask for her. But she mounted a challenge there. She went for it. Now she took the stagger off the outer lanes fairly quickly, and then had to do a bit of hard work in that last 100 to really push forward for a time of about 58. Yeah,
well, again, like Shad Mohammed, she went out and led from the front. So again, if this is the style of racing that they're learning about and training, then it can only be better and better. So well done to Cassidy Bradshaw. So back to the pole vault, our vaulter from Athletics Chilwell. I think this is another Bradshaw, Tim.
We'll find out when we see that bib number as he rounds.
So good clearance. This will be, if I'm right, it should be 3781, which it is. Big smile from young Oliver Bradshaw. There's his father, Chris.
There's a high five.
So getting some instructions. You see Mark Stewart to the right of Chris Bradshaw. So the bar at 305. You can see our next group of athletes in the under-17 being marshalled out. So they're in call room 20 minutes prior to the advertised start time. All of their numbers are checked, etc. And then they're marshalled out around the outside to the start point. A lot of our marshals, our club helpers. At the back of, you'll see Len Bogerton, who's the president of Maccabi, I believe won a recent Australia Day honour.
Certainly did, and well deserved. Lenny Bacarton has been a pillar of the Maccabi system in Victoria and Australia for many, many years. Very good one-lapper himself back in the day too.
Well, it's great to see, and he's also a very big supporter of the Maccabea Games, the annual pilgrimage, which sees a number of sports come together, but we do thank Len and congratulate him on his recent Australia Day honours.
So Tom Coughlin now on the runway for the pole vault competition from St Kevin's. So 3:05 is the bar. Very easy clearance there, Glenn. So a lot of daylight between Coughlin's body and the bar, so he's got a fair bit more to give there, I think, in that that is the under 15 competition.
Well, he's very appreciative. Thumbs up as he came off the bar.
Yeah. So the bar will be going to 3:15, and we can see Johnny Suarez on the runway, limbering up, ready for the 3:15 height. So the sun's starting to set now, Glenn. Lights are on here at Lakeside Stadium. Hopefully another spectacular sunset here in Melbourne town. Yeah, on a good night, this is a sensational place to be, and we're seeing it tonight. We'll see a lovely sunset here over the Melbourne City skyline. Girls bar at 3:65, Glenn. That's pretty impressive. Try and get a fix on who's still in that competition in the women's, because that's a reasonable height now. They're up to 3:65.
So I apologise for my silence. Just got a text from Tamsin Manu saying she is watching, so great to see Tamsin. So apologies if you thought that there was a bit of dead air. So just checking our text messages. Great to see Tamsin watching.
Well, we wouldn't really expect anything else, would we? Suarez is on... Not to say Tamsin isn't a one-dimensional person. She has lots in her life, including the children, to keep her very, very busy. Johnny Suarez clearly over there. The new height, 3:15.
So we're still a little bit ahead. They've brought out the under-17 boys. Race is due to go at 5 past, but our competition director, Richard Lavich, is keeping things moving today, which has been awesome. So, another unfortunate attempt in the women's pole vault.
So that's Georgia Taylor, and she is in the under-16s. So at 3:65 at the moment. I'm unaware of her PB, unfortunately. Would be nice to have that sort of information for the viewers, but
well, we're just about to head back to the first of 2 heats of the under-17 men's 400. Let's get ready to introduce the field. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next event on the track will be the under-17 boys 400. There are 2 preliminary rounds. Full field of 8 in lane 1 from Wyndham. We welcome Baxter Austin. In lane 2 from St Kevin's is Andrew Matheson. In lane 3 from Box Hill, Matthew Dugan. In lane 4 from Ringwood, Ethan Harris. In lane 5, a bronze medalist in this event last year in the under-16s from Athletics Chilwell, Nicholas O'Brien. Lane 6 from Wendouree, Eugene Reid-Spinks. 7 from Mentone is Jeremy Ockerby, and in lane number 8 from Athletics Essendon is Declan Byrne. Heat number 1 of 2, top 3 from each heat. The next fastest 2 will progress to the final. So interesting heat, this one. Ethan Harris from Ringwood, probably my pick with Nicholas O'Brien. So lanes 4 and 5, you'll just see Ethan Harris in the green stripe to the right of the marquee. So he's in between the 2 marquees with O'Brien on his outside.
O'Brien very much a strength runner.
So something obviously not sitting nicely with the starter. We are ahead of time, so our start area controller, Pam Noden, marches up to probably one of the athletes. Looks like...
And it is a march. He's very determined. Andrew Bafferson could be one to watch as well. He's the St Kevin's runner.
I think we're just making sure that he can hear and also the blocks are.
Yeah. So he's heading out to Declan Byrne there from Essendon.
Yeah. So we would have seen Pam in her role as call room manager in our video produced by David Armstrong.
Telling runners to go away. In the nicest possible manner.
She's a wonderful woman, competition director for Blue Zone.
Yeah, a long-standing Glenn Huntley person too, been at the club for a long, long time.
So they're down for the second time. Heat 1 under 17 men's 400. So they're away this time on the inside. Baxter, Matheson, Dugan, Harris, O'Brien, Reid, Spinks, Ockerby and also Byrne. So after the first 100, probably Ockerby from Mentone, the best to get going. Then Reid, Spinks is next. O'Brien in the middle of the field in the Athletics Chilwell colours. Dugan probably starting to move forward from Box Hill. He'll have the sit on the stagger, so you can see the young man from Box Hill already on the outside of O'Brien. He's out after Ockerby and Byrne, so he'll turn for home. It's the top three, so the pressure's going to be on, and they've got to get a wriggle on, including the young man from Ringwood, Ethan Harris. So O'Brien, Harris starting to challenge. So Dugan from Box Hill, Harris, O'Brien will be the three. They will automatically progress. So Ethan Harris pulls up before the line. Nicholas O'Brien second, Matthew Dugan third. They will automatically progress to the final for heat number 1 of the under-17 boys 400. So thoughts on that one? It was a bit
well,
sort of
probably as expected. O'Brien left a lot of work to do, but he has got a lot of finishing strength, and he did come home fairly strong. I think Harris from Ringwood has certainly got more to give and will be a bit of a player in that final.
Yeah, felt a bit as if there was a bit of uncertainty when to kick or when to go.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we've been privileged to watch the 2 heats.
Well, the
Shade
girls,
Mohammed.
yeah, exactly, where they've just gone. There's no hesitation there. So Harris, yeah, just playing around a bit out there. Dugan probably tired a little bit towards the end. O'Brien was strong, but in the final, when the heat goes up, I think Harris has got a lift to that.
Well, let's see what happens. Heat number 2 just about to get underway. We have 3 finalists from the under-16 boys 400 from last year. We'll introduce the field to you shortly. Our start team are flying. They've got them all behind the blocks. Let's introduce the field. Ladies and gentlemen, heat number 2 are locked and loaded. In lane 1 from Sandringham, we welcome Adam Gianellis. In lane 2 from Frankston, a finalist from the under-16 400 last year, Caden Howden. In 3 from Albury, also a finalist from last year, Thomas Johnson. Lane 4 from Diamond Valley is Jack Clark. Lane 5, a finalist from the under-16 event last year from Old Zaverians, Brody Hicks. In 6 from Wellington, Benjamin Lang. In lane 7 from Williamstown is James Chen. And in lane 8 from Western Athletics, we welcome Aidan Morgan. Heat 2, behind their blocks. My job is done. Over to you, Mr. Starter. So it just looks like we're getting some of it's our backup camera. We're sitting right next to the photo finish booth, so we run an inside and outside camera, making sure that all the races are loaded properly. So this is heat number 2, the under-17 boys 400.
There's no real standouts here, Glenn. I can't sort of pick a name there and think, oh yeah, well this one has got it in the bag. I think this could be a fairly tight race.
Look, Brody Hicks from Old Zaverians, as my producer tells me in my ear. Thank you for that. Unusual because the young man's not from Diamond Valley.
Well, that's right.
But Brody Hicks from Old Zaverians is probably the one to beat.
Thank you, Mr. Producer.
So this field of 8 away. So running very hard for the first 100 is James Chen from Williamstown. Brody Hicks from Old Zaverians chasing him down. So down the back straight we have James Chen from Williamstown, Brody Hicks in the Old Zaverian colours moving into second. He'll have the sit of the stagger as they move through to 200. Benjamin Lang from Wellington's also in the mix in the early stages, and the long striding Jack Clark is starting to wind up with 150 to go. But they turn for home. Hicks from Old Zaverians nudging in front. You can see the athlete from Wellington, Benjamin Lang, challenging, and Jack Clark from Diamond Valley. So Clark will move into second, but out in front, Brody Hicks finishing off his 400 exceptionally well. Jack Clark from Diamond Valley into second. Benjamin Lang from Wellington. They're the 3 that will progress. Thomas Johnson will have to wait until all times are in. And that's how heat number 2 in the under 17 boys 400 ended up.
Now, unfortunately, the infield clock didn't stop, but I got it at just over the 50-second mark, I think, Glenn. We will wait for that to come through.
We can get a time for that one.
Jack Clark looked pretty good, just tired a little bit towards the end, and good run there from the Wellington athlete, which is Ben Lang. So back over to the pole vault, and the bar is down there. It's Alexander Jarman. So Chris Bradshaw having words there with young Alexander. A few little tips on how to clear that bar. Backward cap at 3:15. Did we get a time on that at all, Glenn, or are they still waiting? So Bradshaw now on the runway. So the bar here in the boys' competition is still at 3:15. Oliver Bradshaw next up. So air temperatures are starting to go down a little bit here at Lakeside Stadium. Conditions really not too bad now. Sun setting over Melbourne. As we can see, Bradshaw just waiting for his opportunity for the 3:15 height here in this under 15 competition for the boys. And the girls are off. So unsuccessful there. I think that's still at the 365 height. Sorry, 375 they've gone up to.
So Georgia Taylor from Box Hill.
So obviously got over that 365 height. We saw a miss out earlier, and Bradshaw is now on the runway, ready to go.
No, didn't like that at all. So it'd be interesting to see whether the flag goes up. Our referee's just checking, our judges I should say. So
He'll have another shot.
Technically he didn't plant the pole. So just making sure that he's also within the prescribed time limit for each of his jumps. Because he gets a second chance. Off he goes. Yeah, he's not comfortable this time. He gets the red flag. So Oliver Bradshaw having a conversation with his coach and father, Chris. So the next track event's not due until 8:30, which will be the heats of the women's under 18. And having a quick look, Tim, at the lane draw, we have 5 of our finalists from last year, 1 through 5 in the under 17 women's 400, including Anastasia Purcell, the gold medalist, will go in heat number 1 with Wednesday Shield, who finished 3rd, and Amy McKinley finished 5th. Heat number 2, we see Gigi Macagnini and Lucy Lutchford. So the seeding's doing what they need to do, separating our athletes in each of the 400s as our next athlete heads across. Just clips the bar with his chest.
That was close. That was Jarman. That was, I'm not sure what attempt he was up to, but I think he's got that height, Glenn. He's just got to get the clearance across the chest.
So plenty of action going on at the pole vault. So plenty of action still happening down at the pole vault in the women's competition. The bar is at 375, and in the men's competition, the bar is at 315.
So time's up on the board now too for the 400, and Hicks was the fastest qualifier. Just over 50 seconds. So another one of our Chilwell competitors here, Glenn, in this boys competition.
So I'm taking a guess. I thought this might be Campbell Braden from Chilwell, but I apologise if I have that incorrect. There are actually 6 gentlemen from Athletics Chilwell competing in this competition. Glad he finished off and got his release onto the mat. Being suspended up in the air on a pole of that size. No. So that's Noah Burns, my apology. So Noah Burns from Athletics Chilwell, athlete number 407. Another attempt in the girls' competition.
That was close too. That was Taylor from Box Hill. Could well be the only remaining competitor in that competition, I think, Glenn.
So this weekend's track and field championship brought to you by Coles. Of course, if you want to head down to one of the hydration/misting areas, there is one located outside the Victorian Institute of Sport. There's also one just behind the finish line, closest to gate number 2. So thank Coles for their participation and also their support of not only the Victorian State Championships but also Athletics Australia.
So good clearance there by Tom Coughlin from St Kevin's in the pole vault. 3:15. So big high five from Steve Kane, the coach, and they're reviewing that. But that was a very good. We saw it on the previous one. He was very unlucky, but I think this one a nice clearance there from Coughlin. So great to have that footage down there, isn't it, Glenn? Right up there and personal with these competitors.
Great to see the coaches box. You can see Chris Bradshaw, Mark Stewart.
Dave Chisholm's there as well.
Yep.
Just sitting back on the relaxed chair.
In the meantime, let's head down to Ross Cunningham for the next presentation.
Thanks, Glenn. Presentation now for the under-15 women's pole vault competition, and receiving the bronze medal with a vault jump of 2 meters 30 from Casey Cardinia, Abigail Delia. And receiving the silver medal with a vault jump of 2 meters 50 from Athletics Nunawadon, Aranya Manchanayaka. And our gold medalist with a vault jump of 3 meters from Box Hill Athletic Club, Tess Parry. So big congratulations to Tess, to Aranya and Abigail in the under-15 women's pole vault competition.
Big thanks to Ross Cunningham, who's doing a marvellous job with all the presentations we have this weekend. We do have some qualifiers for our 400 metres. The under-14 girls competition. In the final we'll see Sienna Farrell, Natasha Kindler, Declan Tanner, Amber Van Eady, Erin Foley, Scarlett Southern, Caitlin Charles and Than Vijay Kumar in the women's under-15 event. Now, qualifiers for the final, which we held tomorrow, are Scary Flavel, Tanya Brada, Billsborough, Wrench, Wilcox, Nimmo and Brady in the under-16 women's competition. As our next athlete from Athletics Chilwell is on the runway.
And that is Burns.
Women's under-16, Hanlon, Brown, Tobin, Power, Lawton, Eve Parry, Gretel Holmes and Jazz Skirky. And we can get one more in, Tim. So Shard Mohammed will go up against Cassidy Bradshaw, Sky Ellis, Zoe Woods, Carla Dreyer, Brianna Sherry, Paige Elvey and Mari Campbell.
No, not quite there.
Didn't like his run-up at all. He was a little concerned and pulled out at the last minute, so he got no elevation, and that looks like his campaign is complete. Looks like we're ready for another presentation in the main arena. Head down to Ross Cunningham.
This time presentation for the under-18 women's javelin throw, and receiving the bronze medal with a throw of 20 metres 99 from Mentone Athletic Club, Megan Blicknight. And receiving the silver medal with a throw of 30 metres 74 from Dandenong Springvale, Sonia Song. And receiving the gold medal with a throw of 40.05 from St Kevin's, Shannon Fraser. So congratulations to Shannon, to Sonia and Megan in the under-18 women's javelin throw.
So competition holding up down at the pole vault, 325 for the boys and 375 for the women's competition. Also about to get underway. It looks like the men's javelin starting to warm up, but we're back in the pole vault.
And it's Taylor from Box Hill. Oh, very, very close. It could be competition over, I believe. So best of 365. We'll see the response here. And then Suarez now going in the boys' comp. And a near miss there at 315.
We should acknowledge, of course, the work of our cameraman down there, Lachlan Rayner, covering 2 competitions with 1 camera. And of course he flew back from Perth last evening on the red eye after completing a boundary gig over at Perth as part of the pre-season. So that's dedication to sport and also to live stream.
So 325 now the bar in the boys' competition. So Suarez missed on his first attempt.
And the women's competition is now concluded, so a little later in the program we'll have the presentation with our Master of Ceremonies, Ross the Scotsman Cunningham.
So Coghlan now on the runway for 325. Just easing his side into that one, Glenn. Just needed to get a little bit more clearance. Get the hips up. And I'm sure Steve Kane will run through that one, the 325 first attempt. Looks like it might be down to 2 competitors now, I think, Glenn. Looks like it might be Coghlan and Suarez. Is Bradshaw could be packing up the poles.
It's been a good competition.
Well, it always is. You know,
men's pole vault started at 160. Yeah. That's in the under 15 competition, so they've done well to get to 325.
Yeah, there's so many good training squads of the pole vaulters now to choose from, and in the different geographic areas.
So we can just see out of shot that our under 18 women are heading down to the marshalling area before the next event on the track for the 400s as we head back to pole vault.
And Suarez, second attempt, 325.
Much better plan and elevation. Just clipped it with his right hand on the way down.
Yeah.
So good effort from the young man.
So still remaining in the comp, 1 attempt left to go, I believe. So getting the words of wisdom there from Mark Stewart. Brings out the iPad. They'll go through frame by frame. Assess the technique. This is a producer of champions, Mr. Stewart there in the Box Hill Athletic Club. Instrumental in the great Steve Hooker's career. He went on to win gold medal at the Beijing Olympics back in 2006. I remember that distinctly because we were setting up the National Cross Country in Geelong that day.
So Coughlin on the runway from St Kevin's, 3:25. Good plant, much better. Oh, didn't quite get the elevation off the pole, what they call the push off the pole, and you see that the other side of side of his front, Tim, best way to describe it.
Well, it was a virtually identical carbon copy of the first attempt, wasn't it, Glenn?
Yep.
So Steve will now show him the error of his ways there. It's a good attempt, but he's just got to get that little bit more height off the pole, as Glenn says.
So this is a good opportunity to talk about the coaches box this year at the state championships, as we have done in previous years when we're running two pole vault competitions side by side. We run a coaches box, so it gives the coaches an opportunity to talk to their charges. Coaches are on the fence on the other side, or can be on the fence on the other side, for the pole vault bag closer to the fence line. So our coaches have been wonderful this weekend, making sure they stay within the roped off area, Tim.
Oh, they're not a bad bunch, are they, Glenn? Some solid characters there.
So young Suarez still in this competition. I think it's his third attempt.
Third attempt, I believe,
3:25.
3:25. And Coughlin's the same.
Much better jump.
Yes, he's happy with that one.
So a good clearance from Suarez.
Did you see the look on his face coming down the runway?
So at 3:25. So still in this competition. Bars at 3:75. Or sorry, competition is completed in the girls' competition. So we still have
two competitors remaining here. So it's Coughlin from St Kevin's. The pressure now on him after Suarez made that clearance, but gee, that was just a determined effort, Glenn. He really attacked it.
Yeah, great advice from his coach and mentor Mark Stewart in between jumps. So he really attacked the runway, got a good plant, great elevation and push off the pole. So well done.
In that clutch position there, third and final attempt. So Coughlin now facing the same. So unfortunately, Coughlin rolling through there. So that's competition complete there in that under 15, and Suarez, Box Hill, will take the victory. So high fives there for Coughlin from coach Steve Kane. Double high five, that's a 10. So fantastic competition once again in the pole vault. It's what we'd expect.
Yeah, good to see. We talk about our coaches looking after and mentoring our younger athletes, which is fantastic. So we don't spend a lot of time promoting our coaches and the work that they do. So big shout out to all of our accredited Athletics Australia coaches. Wonderful to see you supporting what we're doing here today at Athletics Victoria. So coming up, the heats of the women's under 18. Great graphic. So there will be two preliminary rounds. We did mention in a preview earlier that this will be hopefully one of the best sets of preliminary rounds. We have the top five in the under 17 women's 400 from last year making a return. They're divided over two heats. We'll introduce them to you shortly. But Anastasia Purcell, probably the lead with Wednesday Shield, who'll go out in heat number 1. Heat number 2, we have Gigi Macagnini and Lucy Lutchford. So, again, Tamsin Lewis, the record holder at 52.90 in 1994.
So, Olivia Yacono in the next one as well. She's running well.
So just heard that there is still one competitor remaining in the pole vault, Tim. Bar's gone to 3 minutes 30. We'll keep you up to date. So we just saw the bar. It could be Suarez.
Yeah, Suarez still going.
Maybe going for a PB.
Yep. So he's got the clearance at 25, so only remaining competitor.
So ladies and gentlemen, we'll just head down to presentation shortly, but we're getting word that young Suarez will jump at 3:30. We'll keep you posted. In the meantime, down to our Master of Ceremonies.
So the presentation now for the women's under-16 pole vault, and receiving the silver medal with a vault jump of 2 meters 90 from Diamond Valley, Elsie Clifford. And their gold medalist with a vault jump of 3 meters 65 from Box Hill Athletic Club, Georgia Taylor. So congratulations to Georgia and Elsie in the under-16 women's pole vault.
So first attempt at 3:30 in the pole vault, already personal best for young Suarez, but we will head to the first of two preliminary heats in the women's under 18 400 metres. In lane number 2, representing Eaglehawk, is Laura Kadri. In lane 3 from Old Zavarians is Olivia Yukono. Lane 5, gold medalist from the under 17 event from last year from Box Hill, Anastasia Purcell. Sorry, in 4. In lane 5 from Box Hill is Wednesday. She'll finish 3rd last year in this event. In lane 6 from Sandringham, a finalist in the under-17 event last year, Amy McKinley. And in lane 7 from Athletics Under Wadding, Talia Lowe. That's the field for heat number 1 in the under-18 women's 400. So here's this long-awaited and anticipated under-14 girls 400, Tim. So Purcell in 4. So she's just in between the two marquees. You can see her getting on her marks at the moment. On the outside of her is Wednesday Shield.
Yeah, and on the inside, Yukono from Old Zavarians.
So all away safely in heat number 1 of 2 on the outside, Talia Lau. But already Wednesday Shield from Box Hill starting to make a move on this field. She's running a very strong race down the back straight. She's taking command early, chasing it down, Anastasia Purcell from Box Hill. So the two Box Hill athletes.
Purcell leading.
Sorry, Purcell leading.
So Purcell clearly through at the 200 now. Shield in next position. Yukono and Kadri. So Shield really, Purcell really putting it in here. So dominating the performance in the first 300 metres. She's already got a lead, probably 10 to 15 metres. Yukono starting to lift through. Shield battling strongly. Kadri on the inside of her. So top 3 to go through. And Anastasia Purcell is certainly stamping her authority. I think her teammate's going to come through there, which is Shield, to grab the second position. Yukono safely in 3rd. Kadri's going to have to wait on time there. And then we're going to have McKinley and also Lowe battling out those next positions. But gee, a good run there. Anastasia Purcell.
Thanks for the save, Tim. Got my Box Hill athletes mixed up, but certainly, as we predicted, you can see the finishing stages of that race. So Purcell very strong over the first 200, and also look at the strength finishing into the finish.
Yeah,
into the finish line.
She'll comes through nicely, but what I like about Purcell, she's just so technically proficient, Glenn. Still, I think there's a lot of development to come with that athlete, and gee, as she develops into a more mature body, that's going to be one hell of a good 400 metre runner. Yep, so second attempt here, Suarez for, already got a PB. Let's see if we can get Johnny Suarez up even higher at 3:30. Be a great sign going through to national champs.
Thanks, champ. So just an update on the pole vault. Johnny Suarez, 3rd and final attempt at 3:30. Already personal best this evening. So trying for a second PB. Well, ladies and gentlemen, heat number 2 behind their blocks, the under-18 women's 400 in lane 2 from Geelong is Michaela Michelle's. In lane 3 from Collingwood is Lucy Lutchford. In lane 4 from Sandringham, Tiana Shears. In lane 5 from South Melbourne, silver medalist from this event in the under-17 category last year, Gigi Macagnini. In lane 6 from Western Athletics is Kalara 2. Lane 7 from Athletics Essendon is Eliza Connors. That is the field for heat number 2. So Tim, Lucy Lutchford, Gigi McInerney.
Yeah, look, McInerney, really good, having a great year in the 800s as well. Luchford is more, I think, an 800 runner. She is splitting in the middle there, the Sandringham runner. This will be an interesting race.
So all away cleanly, Connors on the outside, Ratu inside of her. McInerney starting to move forward as expected. Shears needs to go with her. Lutchford also, and Michelle's from Geelong.
So Gigi striding beautifully, but it is also Tiana Shears from Sandringham going nicely down the back straight. Lucy Luchford going stride for stride with him, very close at 200, Glenn.
So McInerney needs to get one of the first 3 positions. She is running well from Sandringham. Lutchford starting to power home, so 147.2 metres to go. Gigi McInerney turns for home. All 3 of them in a very comfortable position. She is in the middle. Lutchford moving into second perhaps, but Gigi McInerney is going to take this heat out.
So
Not really concerned about second and third in the sense that they'll all automatically progress into the final, but McInerney pulls up, good run from Lutchford, and then Shears, followed by Ratu, Michaels and Connors.
So total control there from Gigi. You can just see Lucy Luchford just starting to get the head to the one side there, really straining as she's going down that final stretch. She is looking pretty good too, but yeah, Gigi McInerney, probably, I wouldn't, well, it's a class above there, I think, going into the final for that under-18 competition.
So still plenty of action to come. Next event on the track will be the under-18 men's competition. We've got javelin happening. You can see our athletes in the transition area. So we're going to head across to the javelin shortly. That competition underway. So still some semi-finals to go in the open category in the 400 a little later in the program. So that wind is practically non-existent at the moment, Tim, so...
Yeah, give the Bureau their due. They had predicted this.
So sorry to cut you off, Tim, but let's head down to Ross Cunningham.
So presentation now for the men's under-18 triple jump. Receiving the bronze medal with a jump of 11 metres 85 from Athletics Chilwell, David McConnon. And receiving the silver medal with a jump of 12 metres 80 from Casey Cardinia, Keenan O'Hanlon. And our gold medalist with a jump of 14 metres from Casey Cardinia, Amiru Chandrasena. So congratulations to Amiru, Keenan and David in the men's under-18 triple jump.
So a big thank you to Ross Cunningham bringing our presentations to us.
And under 18s, so field of 14. And in ambulance, so 16.
So that was a good throw from Braden Woolridge from Yarra Rangers.
So currently in the JAV, we've got the under-17 boys, the under-18s, and a couple of ambulance throwers. Yep. So in the field at the moment, the 8:30 javelin throw, and in the under-17 competition, we've got 8 starters. Ruan Swainvelder from Ringwood, Beadwaters, Box Hill, Wilson Cram, Keyless and Burners, Liam Griffith, Mornington Peninsula, Jackson Wallace, Sandringham, Jacob Eastwood, Geelong Guild, Will Jarman, Athletics Chilwell, and Sev Redmore from Western Athletics. In the under-18s, Reece Tonkin, Dandenong, Kelvin Meaden, Diamond Valley, Oliver Blackburn, Box Hill, Braden Woolridge from Yarra Rangers, Trent Matthews, Frankston, James Miller, Bendigo Harriers, and our ambulance. We have got Ruth Caldwell from the Masters, and also it is Anelia Brotto Jansen from Waverley.
So 43.94, I think that last throw. They're Bendigo Harriers athlete releases.
So that's James Miller, who just threw from Bendigo Harriers.
So throw of 43.61. So next on the runway.
This will be our Masters athlete in the ambulant category, which is Ruth Caldwell.
So we'll get Ruth's throw in before we head to our next 400 metres.
Been involved.
So 21.68 for our Masters competitor. Let's get down for the next introduction of the 400 metres. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we head to event 56. This is the first of 2 heats of the men's under 18 400 metres. Just a reminder, the progressions are the top 3 in each heat, plus the next fastest 2 across both heats will progress to the final tomorrow. Lane number 2 representing Collingwood is Lachlan Sayer. In lane 3 from Old Melburnians, Max Holmes. In lane 4, gold medalist from the under 17 age group last year from Glen Huntly, Cooper Smith. In lane 5 from Geelong Guild, the bronze medalist Oscar Mazaraki. In lane 6 from Frankston, Daniel Price. 7 from Casey Cardinia is Callan Venables, and in lane 8 from Frankston, Ben Wells. That is your lineup, heat number 1.
On your mark.
So watch out for Oscar Mazaraki in lane number 5.
Yeah, but Cooper Smith, quality runner.
So watch out for Mazaraki in lane number 5 as well. So all away in this race. So even start. You can see Cooper Smith starting to move forward. He's up to Mazaraki on the outside. He's flying down the back straight. He's got Daniel Price. He's covered him, and he's also covered Ben Wells. So Cooper Smith and Glen Huntly is flying in the first 200. He's running about a sub 22, right on 22. So if that was his plan, it's going to be a fast 400. He just needs to finish in the top 3 in this event. Cooper Smith. He's led from start to finish. Moving into second will be Max Holmes from Old Melburnians, and possibly third, Mazaraki from Geelong. But Smith looks to his inside. He's still going. Max Holmes challenging for second, but Cooper Smith has set the time and said thank you very much. Max Holmes will be second, 49.77. Oscar Mazaraki from Geelong third. So good run from Cooper Smith to take out heat number 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a special page. If anyone has found a wallet belonging to Jamie Strudley, President of Athletics Victoria, it contains his coach's card, and some other personal items. If you have found a wallet, you can bring it up to the main administration area. He would be grateful. So that was a great run from Cooper Smith. So
Yeah,
22.83.
It's an attacking run, wasn't it, Glenn?
Yep.
And then I think the game plan there, go as hard as you can for 200 and see what happens. He had lots of looks around, though, to see what was going on around him to protect his position.
So Jackson Wallace from Sandringham on the runway. Decent throw. Just under the 50-metre mark from the naked eye in our commentary box position. But we'll head down to introduce the next event on the track. So heat number 2 are locked and loaded. In lane 1 from Sandringham is Lucas Wright. In 2 from Frankston is Kai Ould. In lane 3, a finalist from last year from Geelong Guild, Will Gray. In 4 from Athletics Nunawading, also a finalist, Jacob Pearson. In lane number 5 from Old Zaverians, Oscar Hunter. In lane 6 from Old Scotch, Sean Elliott. Lane 7 from Collingwood, Xavier Chung. And in lane 8 from Old Zaverians is Leon Yong. That's the field for heat 2. So interesting field in this one. Jacob Pearson from Nunawading, probably the one to watch. So you can see him right in the middle of screen in lane 4 in between the two marquees.
Yeah, we saw him running well at high velocity, and also he did a milers club over 800 as well. So he does have the strength over the 8.
He's a bit of a character as well.
He is a character.
You know, playing up to the crowd, which is great, meaning he's nice and confident. But let's see how he goes over the 1 lap distance. So this big field of 8 underway in the middle. Jacob Pearson from Nunawading's got a bit of work to do. Down the back straight, the challenge is on. Sam Elliott, Oscar Hunter, Jacob Pearson. So 200 into this race, still sub 23 seconds. You can see Jacob Pearson, Oscar Hunter on his outside, Will Gray from Geelong. So they'll turn for home. These three will battle it out. So Gray slightly in front. Hunter may or may not mount a challenge. He'll successfully move into the final. So it's Gray, Pearson and Hunter. So those three will progress. It's a good run from Sean Elliott. And big round of applause for Leon Young from Old Zaverians to complete his 400-metre trial. Looks like we're ready for another presentation, so we'll head down to our Master of Ceremonies.
So presentation now for the men's under 14 pole vault, receiving the bronze medal with a vault jump of 3 meters 5 from Athletics Chilwell, Noah Burns. And receiving the silver medal with a jump of 3 meters 5, also from Athletics Chilwell, Alexander Jarman. And our gold medalist with a vault jump of 3 meters 25 from Box Hill Athletics Club, Johnny Suarez. So we'll continue with presentations. The men's under 15 pole vault competition. Receiving the bronze medal, the vault jump of 2 meters 65 from Athletics Chilwell, Campbell Braden. And receiving the silver medal with a jump of 2 meters 75 from Doncaster Athletics Club, Kai Sapoli. And our gold medalist with a vault jump of 3 meters 15, Tom Coughlin. So congratulations, Tom from St. Kevin's, also to Kai and Campbell in the men's under 15 pole vault competition.
So back on to the javelin. This is Oliver Blackburn from Box Hill. Good throw. Oh, just outside the sector. Great pickup from camera one, a.k.a.
Great reaction from the officials as well. They were moving
So just
very
outside
quickly.
the sector. So, unfortunately, red flag.
Sweeper McBroom with the javelin in hand. He moved very quickly then, Glenn.
So Braden Woolridge out over the 40-metre mark just. So competition hotting up in the javelin, as the track will shortly. Number 40.26 for Braden Woolridge. Next is Trent Matthews from Frankston on the runway. Not a bad throw, about 44 metres or thereabouts. We'll see how we are with our predictions this evening.
Oh, looks about right. Maybe a little bit exaggerated, but they're veering to the right a lot, aren't they, tonight, Glenn? They're all,
Yeah.
the past three throws have all gone heavily in that direction.
44.52 that throw. So I apologise to the viewers at home. I was 50 centimetres out.
So the Bendigo Harriers.
So James Miller's on the runway.
Just
Off a
shortened
short run, but wow, certainly lots of strength in that.
About 42, you think, Glenn, or 43?
So 41.78 is my prediction.
41.78.
$39.30 for that throw.
Now it's Ruth Caldwell, the Masters ambulant athlete on the runway. So good technique there from Ruth. Gets a plant. And then waiting is Aniela Protto Jansen from Waverley. She's an under 14 competitor here in this javelin, the mixed javelin throw, ambulant with the 400 grams. And a nice little throw out there from Aniela. White flag up.
So 6 metres 46. So heading into the next round of competition. There's our chief Greg Simpson from Albury.
Oh, I think he's moved now. A bit more down around Kyneton area, I think. He's brought the property. Saw him. So you're wrong on all fronts, but I believe he's moved down around Kyneton. I saw him building a massive big shed, as men do. So it's getting late in the night here, but javelin competition is really proceeding beautifully. We've got Wilson Cram now, Keelis and Bernards.
So 3839 for the previous competitor. As our athletes are starting to come up to set up for the under 20 women's 400.
That was a nice throw there from Cram. Kept it fairly low, but gee, there was good penetration.
So 3765 for Cram. Athletes still warming up on the runway.
As we see Liam Griffith from Mornington Peninsula, fairly flat. They got the mark for it. I think they have found the mark. So Griffith. And now you can see the action moving back to the track for the 400s. And
So in picture, Mia Gross, Tim, our gold medalist from the under-18 women's 400 from last year. Probably one of the favourites for the under-20 title this year.
Well, you'd have to think so, Glenn. I know O'Sullivan's also in this heat, but Gross is a magnificent athlete, very professional in what she does. Very well
Sophie
prepared.
O'Sullivan from Glen Huntley just doing a few practice starts.
And we've also got one of the Mendez girls, Jennifer, is in the outer lane here in this
So,
heat.
Good field. Let's get down to introducing them, Tim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grandma, grandpas, next event on the track will be the first of two heats in the women's under-20 400 metre championship of Victoria. Heat number 1, we welcome in lane 2 from Frankston, Kelsey Barrett. In lane number 3 from Diamond Valley, Isabel Long. In lane 4, the current title under-18 holder from Deakin, Mia Gross. In lane 5, a finalist from the under-18 400 last year from Glen Huntley, Sophie O'Sullivan. And on lane 6 from Athletics Essendon, we welcome Jennifer Mendez. A field of 5, heat number 1, first of 2 heats in the women's under-20 400. So quality field of 5. Great to see Sophie O'Sullivan and Mia Gross. A little bit of a congratulatory best of luck before the start. But they become fierce competitors when that gun goes.
So anticipation here.
So this field away on the inside from Frankston, Kelsey Barrett, Isabel Long from Diamond Valley. Mia Gross already starting, running into her race. She's up to the outside of Sophie O'Sullivan and has captured Mendez down the back straight. So the top 3 from this heat will progress to the final, but it's a battle of pride. These two have battled across the school competition, all schools, and it's another battle tonight. So Mia Gross from Deakin leads them into 200. Sophie O'Sullivan will have a better back half of the race. Isabella Long from Diamond Valley moving into 3rd. So 120 metres to go. Mia Gross from Deakin running very casually. She knows what she needs to do. Sophie O'Sullivan moving into 2nd. Isabella Long, but a great 50 from the water jump, was moved into 3rd. So Mia Gross, Sophie O'Sullivan tackling. Will she tackle for first place? Mia Gross holds on. O'Sullivan 2nd. Long will be 3rd. Kelsey Barrett will finish 4th and Jennifer Mendez 5th. So unofficially 57.5 for Mia Gross from Deakin.
So we saw Gross starting to ease it off at her at the water jump, Glenn. That was a very early ease off. She started to just take the foot off the pedal, and she could just feel O'Sullivan coming at her and then just put the afterburners on enough to take out the win, which is important to take that win. Good run there from Long. She was just stalking, and I thought if she really got the motors going in that last 100, she could have got close to O'Sullivan, but O'Sullivan just held on there nicely for that 2nd position. But Gross had to do a bit of work there, as you can see from the posture post-race, but how comfortable did she look in that first 200? Yeah. Yeah.
So heat number 2 behind their blocks. In lane 2 from Keilor St Bernard's, Millicent Cram. Lane number 3 from Sandringham is Anna Plessinger. In lane number 4, our silver medalist from last year from Old Varians, Grace Goldsworthy. In lane 5 from Box Hill is Samantha Olsen. In lane 6 from Diamond Valley, Taylor Radatti. In lane 7 from Albury Athletics, a finalist from last year, Summer Sutherland. Raf, did you see that graphic? Was that for us? So his second heat away. On the outside, Summer Sutherland. Samantha Olsen from Box Hill's already out hard. She's picked up Redaddy. So Olsen down the back straight. Redaddy going with her on the inside. You can see Grace Goldworthy starting to bridge the gap. But Olsen coming into the 200. She'll run around 25, so a good first 200. Goldsworthy starts to wind up. Redaddy in third at this stage. So it's been a good first 300 metres from our leader. So Samantha Olsen, here comes Grace Goldworthy challenging in the back half of the race, but these two will progress into the final. Plessinger now moving into third, but Grace Goldsworthy will finish off and take the heat win from Samantha Olsen. Anna Plessinger will move into third. Taylor Redaddy fourth, followed by Millicent Cram and Summer Sullivan. So that's heat number 2 in the women's under 2400.
That's actually a pleasure to watch, Glenn, because just the way Goldsworthy maintained her composure was probably a fair way behind Olsen, going through the 200, but Goldsworthy just stuck to the race plan, and you could just sense every stride coming around from about the 150 she was gaining, and then took the lead nicely.
Back to the javelin. It's our athlete from Bendigo Harriers, a short run up. So around the 41 metre mark, but of course that's unofficial. $39.94 from James Miller from Bendigo. So I just had to grab my start sheet. On the runway at the moment is Ruth Caldwell. So just about to get onto the runway will be Angela Brotto-Jansen from Waverley. She's competing in the para-javelin competition. 23.76 for Ruth Caldwell from VMA.
So I think 6.64 might have been the previous throw there from Brotto Jansen. So we'll see where this one comes up. Red flag, so no measure.
So big group of under 20. There are 3 preliminary rounds. Tim, let's head out for a quick preview. Heat number 1, our gold medalist from last year, Finlay Kersop-Cole, standout athlete from Athletics Chilwell, put in some great performances down at Geelong during Shield competition. Fraser Simons from Old Melburnians, and also Tom Willems from Old Xaverians. And Tom has competed for Xavier College at the Relay Championships and also in the All Schools.
Had a good win at HVC last week or the week before.
Heat number 2, we have Vishnu Satish, Angus C from Old Melburnians, which is a great pickup by them, and Ross Hines. So they're the ones to watch. And then in the 3rd heat, Phil Borg, Benjamin Powell, and Delina De Silva making a comeback. So plenty of action. There are 3 preliminary rounds. So it's a bit cutthroat. This time it's the first 2 from each heat, the next fastest 2. So there will be no mucking around. So this will all be about race tactics, setting out the time or setting out the strategy as early as possible. So you can see our start area controller, Pam Noden, and also David Metherell. David Metherell's one of our starters assistants, getting all of the athletes called up and ready for the first heat.
I have a feeling we might see some new names jumping in onto this under-20 comp as well, Glenn.
Well,
Marach has won, I think.
Excellent.
And I think another one to watch out for will be Harrison, the Bendigo boy in heat number 2 from Eaglehawk.
So as we mentioned, David Metherell going through the last of the briefings with our 400 metre semi-finalists. Perhaps he's telling a dad joke.
They're very animated down there, aren't they?
So the first heat due to come out. This race is not due to start till 9:05, so a good 2 or 3 minutes. So the start area controller releases them out onto the track. Lots of process and protocol and rules and regulations and bits and pieces to remember. There's the young man, Willems.
Talking about dad jokes, I had the pleasure of Gus Popolo give me a standard dad joke before when I was down on the fence during the discus comp. Wouldn't be a Victorian champs without a nice joke from Gus, one of the legends of our sport and a great guy.
Yeah, Gus Popolo, the president of Ringwood Athletic Club.
And another coach of champions.
Wonderful to see so many Athletics Australia accredited coaches here supporting the competition. So still preliminary round day, just like at Clipsal this weekend for V8 Supercars. Tomorrow is final day, the first weekend. We start the morning with all of our short hurdles competitions, and then we head to the finals of the 100s, followed by the 1500s, and we finish the competition with the finals of the 400s.
Yeah, no, good day tomorrow. Obviously looking forward to those 1500 metre finals, aren't we, Glenn?
Absolutely. Looking forward to all the finals, including our field events, Tim. And of course, tomorrow's coverage will be brought to you, of course, by Nick Wall and Tim Crosby. So
we'll be hoping for as many old Zaverians in the finals as possible because the sound level will go up. And one of those will be Dilly de Silva that we're going to see in heat number 3, I think. Dilly
yeah,
will
looking
be
forward
up.
to that. He ran high velocity the other week at Ringwood.
Yep.
They come back after a good year off with a major injury from memory.
Yeah, which he did trialling one of the girls going through to the World Juniors, I think. Remember that? It was done here in a trial race, getting one of the girls through.
Well, let's get this show on the road. It's just on 9:04. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we head now to the preliminary rounds of the men's under 20 400 metres. There are 3 heats. So the first 2 in each heat and the next fastest 2 will proceed to the final. Heat number 1, we welcome in lane number 2 from St Kevin's, Jack Lunn. Lane number 3 from Athletics Schedule, the current under 18 400 metre champion, Finlay Kersop Cole. In lane number 4 from Old Zaverians, Tom Willems. In 5 from Old Melburnians, Fraser Simons. In lane 6 from Sandringham, Daniel Marach. In lane 7 from Albury, Helen Angelini. And in lane 8 from Diamond Valley, a finalist from last year, Damien Furlong. That is your lineup for heat number 1.
On your mark.
So there you go, Tim. Lots of activity from our competitors in the first heat.
Yeah, isn't it good to see? We go to the under-20s and you start to see lots of character.
Well, they've got to put it all on the line. The Victorian record held by Casey Vincent, 45.55. He said that in 1998. It won't go tonight, but this should be a great race.
Set. Stand up, please. On your mark, gentlemen.
So, it doesn't look like anything untoward. I think the starter just asked them to stand up. So, everyone's still in contention, which is good to see.
On your mark.
So away this time, Lunn from the inside in the yellow from St Kevin's, Kersop Cole. Willems running well, so's Fraser Simons from Old Melburnians. He's flying down the back straight. Willems is going with him. Kersop Cole's got a bit of work to do. This is cutthroat. The first 2 will automatically progress, and this will be one of the fastest heats, so there may be a saving grace. Willems winds up at the 200, just over 23.2 for the first 200. Chasing him down, Kersop Cole will have the sit on the inside. Fraser Simons on the outside. That'll be the top 3. Willems turns for home. Kersop Cole running well, so's Fraser Simons, who moves into second. Willems switching off, looks around. Coming home is Fraser Simons, but it'll be Tom Willems from Old Zaverians will take out this heat, finishing fast. Fraser Simons and Kersop Cole puts a big heat in. Daniel Marach will be next on the inside, Jack Lunn. Hallam Angelini and Damien Furlong. So Tom Willems will take out heat number 1. So the official time 49.06 for Tom Willems to take out heat number 1. Yet another interesting heat race. I didn't pick Fraser Simons would go out that hard, but I tell you, Tom Williams at about the 180 mark just decided to get back in the race.
Yeah, he knew what to do, didn't he? That was just instinct, and it was very good to see. But look, the top 3 there, all very close, and you'd hope that all 3 will go through to that final.
So James Miller on the runway from Bendigo Harriers. So we must be getting to the business end of the competition. So it looks like we're in reverse order, so this will be the additional 1 extra throw. So 3755 for our athlete from Bendigo Harriers, which is James Miller. So heat number 2 are nearly ready. Let's introduce this full field. Lane number 1 from Athletics Essendon, we welcome Ronan Byrne. Lane number 2 from Ringwood is Nicholas Antonio. Lane 3 from Old Melburnians, Angus C. In lane 4 from Old Melburnians, Ross Hine. In lane 5, a finalist from last year's under-18 event from Athletics Essendon, Vishnu Satish. Lane 6 from Eaglehawk Athletic Club, Jamie Harrison. Lane 7 from Eureka is Bryce Stephenson. And in lane 8 from Old Scotch is Stephen Lowe. So that is the field for heat number 2 in the under-20 men's 400. So pretty open second heat. Angus C from Old Melburnians, perhaps Ross Hine in the middle. Vishnu Satish, he's been here, done that before in the final. Anyone else?
Yeah, look,
throw in the mix.
Harrison, they're looking for a sub 50 out of him at some stage. He's been close there on, so he could be one to watch as well. Bit of a smoky out there in lane 6.
So all away from the inside, Byrne, then Antonio in the green. C from Old Melburnians, Hine, who's flying after Satish. So Hine started really well, then Harrison, Stevenson and Luai. So Ross Hine in the Old Melburnians in the white shorts is flying down the back straight. Satish going with him. So is Jamie Harrison in the blue colours, but Ross Hine from Old Melburnians has run a great first 300 metres. Satish sitting nicely. So's Angus C coming into the picture. But turning for home, Ross Hine switches off a little. Satish challenging. Harrison on the outside won't make it. It's the top 2. So Satish and Hine, they will progress. Harrison finishing well. He's got to get closer for a great time. But Ross Hine and then Vishnu Satish, followed by Jamie Harrison and then Angus C on the inside. So the first 2 will proceed automatically to the final, and we'll have to wait until the conclusion of this third and final heat in the preliminaries of the men's under 2400. So Satish finishing off well. Ross Hine had it covered. He had a little bit of a patch at the top of the straight as far as I was concerned. I don't know whether he just switched off, but he just relaxed a little bit and allowed Satish to come back. He won't be able to do that tomorrow.
No, and even that wasn't a heat where I wouldn't be playing too many games, because those boys were coming, they were pretty closely seated, and you were going to have to run well to win that one. So it'll be interesting to see whether the Eaglehawk boy, Harrison, does get through. It's going to be close for those fastest times, Glenn.
So on the screen we see Delina De Silva and the Old Zaverians in the top. We have our visitor from Queensland, Riley Wymore, and in the St Kevin's covered colours, is Phil Borg. So we'll introduce the field to you very shortly.
Hard to miss Phil Borg with that hair.
Yep, makes it easier to call It's certainly the wonderful yellow stripe of the St Kevin's Athletic Club. We're going from strength to strength. Membership going well at St Kevin's.
In male and females.
So nearly ready for the third and final heat, and then we get into three semi-finals of the men's Open 400 and 2 semi-finals of the women's. So just got to make sure our photo finish team are finished processing the 35mm. They're doing a fantastic job. We'll head down and do our job and introduce the next heat. So heat number 3 behind their blocks. In lane 1, let's welcome from Old Severians, Edward Gerard Kennedy. In lane 2 from Sandringham is James Maddox. In lane 3, a very, very warm Melbourne welcome to our athlete from Queensland, Riley Wamel. In lane 4 from St Kevin's, Phil Borg. In lane 5 from Bendigo Harriers, he was the bronze medalist in the under-18 400, Benjamin Powell. In lane 6 from Old Severians, a silver medalist, Delina De Silva. In lane 7 from Old Severians, Matt McKenna. And in lane 8 from Glen Huntly is Kai Morgenthaler. That's your field, a full field. Third and final heat, men's under 2400. So just waiting for the men's 400 metres to be brought around. You can see them at the top of the screen. But I think this is going to be a very interesting race. Delina De Silva, who else?
Well, you got Powell as well, so he's got credentials. Phil Borg, be interesting to see what Womel from Queensland produces. It's an interesting heat.
Well, I don't think the weather's going to be too much of a concern for the young man from Queensland.
I'd be loving this.
Should take this opportunity to wish a warm welcome to CEO of Queensland Athletics, Dave Ginther.
Who no doubt will be watching.
He will be.
Loves his Victorian athletics.
Also to Matt Lynch. So Matty Lynch, I'm sure, will be watching, keeping up with what's happening here in Victoria. So heat number 3, well and truly underway. Morgenthaler in the blue from Glen Huntly. McKenna's flying. De Silva's going with him. Benjamin Powell in the middle and Phil Borg. So the 5 out in front have put a little bit of a gap. Phil Borg's in the middle. We've got Womel from Queensland leading the second pack with Maddox. But out in front, De Silva being challenged on the outside by Benjamin Powell at the 200 metre mark. So the two are going to settle down and fight this out. So Powell and De Silva. Phil Borg's coming into the picture. 3 doesn't go into 2. So turning for home, Benjamin Powell from Bendigo. Phil Borg in the mix. De Silva's going to get a wriggle on if he wants to get through with the automatic progressions. But out in front, been a great run from Benjamin Powell. Phil Borg from St Kevin's challenging, but those two will automatically progress. In third place, we have Delina De Silva. So the fastest heat from memory, Tim. Under 49 seconds, so we'll get the official time very shortly. But Phil Borg very happy, but well done to Benjamin Powell taking out that heat. So the official time, 48.86 for our winner of heat number 3, young Benjamin Powell. So
Dilly De Silva's going to have to wait on times there, but it was the fastest, we think, going through. High's got a 48.67. So this will be interesting to see who gets through. But gee, I like that race, Glenn, because those two just weren't going to let it go, were they? They were pushing each other right to the line.
Yep.
And well controlled by Powell.
So Calvin Meaden from Diamond Valley in the final round of competition. Waiting to see that white flag. So Ross Hine, the fastest from Old Melburnians, 48.67. Willems, 49.05. So there's still one heat to be included in the preliminary results on the scoreboard, but we're going to head down to presentations shortly. So it looks like we're ready for the next presentation, and Ross Cunningham.
Medal presentation now for the men's under-17 javelin throw, and receiving the bronze medal with a throw of 37 metres 66 from Kilo St Bernard's, Wilson Cram. And receiving the silver medal with a throw of 42 metres 39 from Ringwood Athletic Club, Ruan Swanevelder. And our gold medalist with a throw of 48 metres 05 from Sandringham Athletic Club, Jackson Wallace. So congratulations to Jackson, to Rowan and Wilson in the men's under 17 javelin throw.
So next event on the track, we head to the first of 3 semi-finals in the 400 men's in the open category. We've still got our javelin competition, which will be the last field event. So Tim, we saw the heats of the men's 400 last night. Here's our opportunity to quickly preview this event while we've got the javelin in the background. So our next competitor will be Braden Woolridge from Yarra Rangers. So this is the final round. Beg your pardon, that is not correct. So our under 18 men's javelin will have 6 throws. So they're combined with the under 17 men who had 4 throws. So we're aligning with the Athletics Australia.
So close to the 50 there, Glenn. Probably might just come in a bit shy.
So this is the start of the last round. So James Miller from Bendigo Harriers on the runway. So last throw of the competition. Taking a much longer run up this time, Tim.
Yes, and probably into the mid-30s there. Just looking at some of our 400 times coming through as well, but back to the javelin action. Get to the measure on this one. So Oliver Blackburn, Box Hill, on the runway now for the javelin.
So 32.89 for our previous competitor.
That was a good plant. Gee, that's out around that 50 metre mark.
So just to recap on the men's under 20, Ross Hine 48.67, Benjamin Powell 48.86, Tom Willems 48.05, Vishnu Satish 48.79, Phil Borg 49.00, Fraser Simons 49.24, Finlay Kersop Cole 49.29, Jamie Harrison got in on the 8th place 49.56.
Yeah,
so
just knocking out to Silver there, who's got a 49.80, so 49.56, slowest time going in to that final.
So just a reminder for all of our 400 metre competitors, please check the notice board in front for the results and also the qualifications for those athletes proceeding to the final. So we will be posting all of the results up on Facebook at the end of tonight's competition. So Calvin Meaden from Diamond Valley. Last throw, big throw, about over the 52 metres. $51.20, that throw from Meaden.
So Reece Tonkin on the line here on the runway for the Dandenong Springvale Club. So also you can see that 50 right near there, so obviously that's around the mark.
So into our final round of javelin, Reece Tonkin from Dandenong Springvale. $48.65, round number 6. On the runway at the moment, Ruth Caldwell representing the Victorian Masters. So hopefully improved throw from Ruth in her final round. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage today. Of course, plenty of action coming tomorrow with our finals commencing 9 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So extra hour for our Queensland visitors to get up early at 8 o'clock. So 2-3-6-4 final throw and end of competition in the mixed javelin. Coming up, the first of 3 semi-finals. Looking forward to this event. One scratching Will Johns will be a DNS in heat number 2. So one of our favourites ran a great race last night, but has pulled up with a medical condition, so he's not prepared to risk it. So he will not be starting in the semi-final, but it certainly does not preclude him from competing next weekend, if he so chooses, in the 200 or any other event he may choose to compete in. So, Cook Islands. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now head to the 400 metres for the first of 3 semi-finals. The Victorian record held by Rick Mitchell, 44.84, set in 1980. In heat number 1, let's introduce the field. Lane 1 from South Melbourne, we welcome Felix Lonergan. In lane 2 from Frankston, Matthew Napier. In lane 3, a very warm welcome to Yun Mataki from Japan. In lane 4 from Old Severians, Michael Beltrami. In lane 5 from Doncaster, Conrad Kumaris. In lane 6 from St Kevin's, Thomas Wilson. In lane 7 from Athletics Essendon, Dominic Hoskins. And in lane 8, representing the Cook Islands, he broke the national record last night, Alex Beddoes.
Yeah, it's great news for Cook Islands last night with Beddoes taking the national record, 51.4, I think he ran.
Wonderful to have them out here, and good support from Ben Huntley.
Yeah, no, Justin Rinaldi's got this one, so you're confusing your islands. That's Solomon Islands.
So the top 2 in each heat and the next fastest 2 will progress to the final.
Yeah, hard to go past Beltrame and Kumaris.
Yeah, look, don't discount Thomas Wilson. There's something about that young man. He's probably still got a half a second improvement. May not be this year, but I think he'll be in the mix.
On your mark.
So all the way safely, Kumaris and Wilson probably the best to get going. Wilson's out like a rocket. He's already passed Hoskins and he's out after Beddoes. But down the back straight, Wilson. They've given him something to chase. Kumaris and Beltrami working hard down the back straight. So it's been a very fast sub-21 first 200. So Thomas Wilson, the young man from St Kevin's, he's going out hard. Beltrami starts to come into the picture. Kumaris as well. So Wilson How's his strength going to be in the last 90? Beltrami coming at him. Conrad Kamaris has got some work to do. The first two will proceed. Beltrami's got him. Wilson starting to tire. Kamaris coming home. But Beltrami, Kamaris will move into second. Beltrami switches off. Kamaris second. Wilson may hang on to third. But a good run from Mataki from Japan. Unofficially 47.91. So, good run from Michael Beltrami. Thomas Wilson went out like a rocket. And Kamaris did well to gather him in to finish very close second. So those two will proceed to the final. So the official time, 47.87 for Michael Beltrami to take out heat number 1.
Yet again, so much drama in a 400, isn't there, Glenn? That one lap can produce so much. You know, you put the sights on Wilson, and gee, moving down that back straight, he just looked magnificent.
Yep, fluid. He can run a first 200 hard. He just has to have the strength to back it up. But I tell you, as soon as he does that,
exactly. Beltrami, though, that was just pure strength.
Yep, and what I liked about it is Thomas Wilson, whether they were his agreed instructions, he went out hard and said, that's it, I'm setting up this race.
He certainly did. Jun Mataki coming through for third position there.
So this heat now only has 7 athletes with the withdrawal of Will Johns. So yet another quality field. That's Kento Hori from Japan. You see Brian Wilson from South Australia. So an international and national event, this 400 metres. Daniel Mins from Doncaster, you can just see him in the picture. Bit of an open race, but I still think Christian Davis and Joshua Perdusat will take this out 1 and 2.
Yeah, and to the outside of them too, you've got a couple of interesting characters with Jacob Reed and Matthew Harcourt.
Yeah, I think it was a PB for Harcourt. I remember seeing a Nick Wall post or something like that on Facebook. So, but Kento Hori from Japan on screen at the moment. And let's introduce our second heat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the second semi-final is well and truly ready to go. In lane 1, we welcome from Japan, Kento Hori. In lane 2, from South Australia, Brian Wilson. In lane 3, representing the Doncaster Athletic Club, Daniel Mintz. In lane number 5, from Athletics Chilwell, Christian Davis. In lane 6, from Geelong, Joshua Perdusat. In 7, from Deakin Athletic Club, Jacob Reed. And in lane number 8, from Box Hill, Matthew Harcourt. A field of 7, a reminder, the top 2 in this heat and the next fastest 2 across all 3 heats will proceed to the final. So that vacant lane can also be a distraction too in the middle. So Davis is on the outside and Daniel Mins. So
yeah, it just means no one's going to be pushing Davis through, but he's going to have Perdusat to the outside to chase early.
So Davis has been running more 4s than he has 8s this season. So he ran low 47.21s at high velocity, and he also ran at the Canberra Track Classic and also Sydney Track Classic.
And he's looking very comfortable too.
Yeah, coached by Nuala Costa. Let's see how this race pans out. So 7 starters in this race. Davis in the middle, out hard. So's Joshua Perdusat. He's got somebody to chase. On the outside, Matthew Harcourt in lane 8, running very well down the back straight. But Davis is flying in the first 150. Perdusat's challenging as well. Harcourt's got to go with him. It's the first 2. So Perdusat and Davis, they compete regularly at Shield, side by side. Davis, the 800-metre specialist, flying around with 150 to go. Perdusat staying with him. Harcourt on the outside, running a great race. So is Jacob Reed, but they turn from home. Christian Davis, then on the inside, Brian Wilson may come into the picture, but Davis, Perdusat closing the gap. Davis running well the last 50. Those 2 will proceed. It'll be 3rd and 4th that we need to get the times on. So Davis looks around, switches off. Perdusat, and then side by side in 2 and 3, Wilson and Mins for 3rd. So not as fast as the previous heat, but Christian Davis and Joshua Perdusat have booked their ticket into the final.
And I think Mins might have taken that third position just ahead of Brian Wilson there, the South Australian, but we will wait on the photo finish.
So great run from Davis. Much better preparation in the first 250. Joshua Purchasat doing a great job as well. So
yeah, Purchasat just tying up a bit though, Glenn, even though it should have been easing. You could just sense that he was putting more effort into that last 50. And Mins has officially been given that third spot. So we'll just wait on times now to see who proceeds through.
Well, the next heat is going to be interesting. It's packed full of potential. You have Sotsis into Connor Fry in 3, Luke Stevens, Procaccino, Harvey Morant. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be in this heat.
That is a stacked heat. Honestly, that is a stacked heat.
So the progressions work on the placings from the previous heats, so the previous round, so the heats from last night. First and second will entitle you to certain lane numbers, etc. But there is a new ruling with the IAAF around progressions to make sure that the 2 fastest or 3 fastest seeded athletes coming into the competition have an opportunity to proceed. So in other words, they're not seeded in the same race together. So a very interesting race this will be.
Well, there'll be a couple of good names here that will not make the final because they can't.
It's a shame we don't have a 9 or 10 lane track. There on the screen is Harvey Morant, very talented 400 metre hurdler. Let's get this introduction underway. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the third and final semi-final is nearly underway. Let's introduce the field in lane number 2 from Glen Huntley. We welcome Michael Sotsos. In lane 3 from St Kevin's, Connor Fry. In lane number 4 from Western Athletics, Luke Stevens. In lane 5 from Doncaster, Liam Procaccino. In lane 6 from Geelong, Harvey Morant. In lane 7 from Glen Huntley, Azar Omoafu. In lane 8 from Deakin is Matthew Gambetta. That is your field for the final semi-final in the men's 400 metres. So 7 runners, 7 talented athletes in this third semi-final. Very hard to pick, but I reckon Luke Stevens is probably just going to get ahead.
Yeah, it's a smart racer and it'd be hard to pick against him, Glenn.
So this third semi-final underway. In the middle, Stevens, Procaccino and Morant. So Morant in the green, already up to Amawafu on the outside. You see Luke Stevens powering past Procaccino. There's a bit of work to do there from him, but Stevens very relaxed down the back straight. Harvey Morant's gone out very hard in this 200. 400 metre hurdler will have the strength to come home, but Luke Stevens settling into his rhythm. 200 or 150 to go. He will have the advantage on the stagger. Stevens, Morant in second. Procaccino needs to get into the picture, but Luke Stevens, Harvey Morant chasing him down. So Luke Stevens, here comes Procaccino. Harvey Morant hanging on, Procaccino flying, he may get into second, Stevens, and then Procaccino moves into second, left it late but got the job done. Harvey Morant third, will be the fastest heat, 47.69, but wow, talk about leaving it to the last minute. Procaccino takes the 2 automatic progressions into the final. We probably need to pause, so let's head down to Ross Cunningham for the next presentation.
Thanks, Glenn. Presentation now for the men's under-18 javelin, and receiving the bronze medal with a throw of 48 metres 70, Oliver Blackburn. And receiving the silver medal with a throw of 50 metres 24 from Dandenong Springvale, Rhys Tonkin. And receiving the gold medal with a throw of 51 metres 20 from Diamond Valley, Calvin Meaden. So congratulations to Calvin, to Rhys and Oliver in the men's under-18 javelin throw.
Well, one of the best semi-finals I've seen for a while. The official time for Luke Stevens, 47.66. Procaccino flew home, 47.85. Now, I've watched Procaccino run 3 or 4 400s over the last couple of months, and the frustrating thing that I've seen about him, the kid has talent, and this is what he should have done. He's used his strength, he trains well, and he's flown through to take the automatic second spot.
So Glenn, what are you saying? He needs to commit a bit earlier?
No, we'll leave that to his coach, Liana. So anyway, what a great race. So ladies and gentlemen, we have two semi-finals for the Women's 400-metre Championship of Victoria. Field of 8 in heat number 1. The top 3 from each heat, or the first 3 in each heat, the next fastest 2 will proceed to the final. In lane 1 from Sandringham, we welcome Elizabeth Dingledye. In lane 2 from Melbourne University, Katrina Anderson. In lane 3 from Doncaster, Molly Blakey. In lane 4 from Box Hill, Georgia Griffith. In lane 5 from Old Melburnians, Mackenzie Keenan. In lane 6 from Deakin is Lily Bays. In lane 7 from Glen Huntley, Ashley Palmer. And in lane 8 from Box Hill is Ellie Sanford. That is your field for the first semi-final Women's 400-metre Championship of Victoria.
Quite a few 800-metre specialists in this one, Glenn. I think 4 would really be 800-metre runners. And you've also got the hurdler there in Palmer.
Yeah, so Georgia Griffiths ran a great 400 last night. Really impressed with her. Mackenzie Keenan from Old Melburnians. I think they're the 2 to watch.
And also perhaps Lily Bays.
So something awry happened.
Let's wait and see.
Wait and see.
One. Yeah.
I tell you, it sounded very much like the stall gift, and a shout out to CEO Tom Burbage. I know who's watching at home. So a red card's coming out of the pocket of our start area controller. Who's it going to be
I
to?
think Bays already knows that it's her, so we're seeing Lily Bays straight out. Yeah, not happy. So hands went to the head as soon as that second gun went. So Lily knew that she was the one. Being comforted now by Jess Schooling-Nance, her teammate. So disappointing for Bays, always a big contributor to these 400s.
So the field's now down to 7. On the outside, Ash Palmer and Ellie Sanford will lead them out. Mackenzie Keenan from Old Melburnians is 3rd from left to right. Georgia Griffiths from Box Hill will start to wind up down the back straight as she did in her heat last night. So Sanford will lead them out. Palmer running well. Keenan fills the gap. Georgia Griffith, the 1 to watch. Also Blakey on the inside. So 200 metres to go. Very hard to pick at this stage. Waiting for Griffith to wind up. So Mackenzie Keenan will lead them into the straight. Then on the inside, Molly Blakey will come into the picture, but it's the first 3 and the next fastest 2. So finishing well, Mackenzie Keenan from Old Melburnians. Griffith starts to wind up. She's put herself into one of the 3 automatic spots, but Mackenzie Keenan from Old Melburnians. Griffiths will be 2nd, Molly Blakey 3rd. So unofficially 55.82. So wow, great effort from Mackenzie Keenan to take out the first semi-final.
Good run there by Blakey, wasn't it, Glenn? So she just held ground the whole way through, just was close to Griffith and actually led her through for most of the way. So
see,
Georgia was just trying to run her down. That was the main aim.
Interesting to see that Georgia Griffith sat back for a while and then just left it for the first few moments. Let's head down for our next presentation.
Presentation now for the Ambulant Open Women's Javelin, receiving the gold medal with a performance of 29.45 and a percentage of 55.03 from Victorian Masters, Ruth Caldwell. And in the under-14 girls ambulant javelin, receiving the gold medal with a performance of 6.46 and a percentage of 24.9 from Athletics Waverley, Anelia Broto Janssen. So congratulations to Ruth and Anelia in the under-14 girls and open ambulant javelin.
So just about ready for the second semi-final. We'll introduce them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the second semi-final behind their blocks. Full field of 8 in lane 1, representing Doncaster. We welcome Stephanie Larkham. In lane 2 from Athletics Chilwell, Tess Kersop Cole. In lane 3 from Deakin Athletic Club, Jessica Gooley-Nance. In lane 4 from Old Melburnians, Kendra Hubbard. In lane 5 from Mornington Peninsula is Alexia Luzau. In lane 6 from Mornington Peninsula is Sophia Fagira. Lane 7 from Old Melburnians, Caitlin Hawkes. And in lane 8 from Glen Huntley, Emily McLean. That is the start list for semi-final number 2. So a full field of 8, Tim. I think in the centre, Kendra Hubbard, Alexia Luzau from last night are my picks. On the outside, Jessica Gooley-Nance.
Gooley-Nance, the international representative. Interesting to see where she fits into the field at the moment.
So this field's away. On the outside, McLean leads them out. Hawkes about to pick her up on the inside. Figueira starting to move forward. So's Hubbard in the middle. So Hubbard down the back straight. Already has Luzau. She's got Figueira in her sight. So Hubbard flying. Figueira and Hawkes running well. But Kendra Hubbard heads into the 200. Great lead at this stage. Using the stagger well and ran a very first fast 200 around 24 seconds. So Hubbard being challenged by, looks like Figueira on the outside. The stagger will sort them out coming into the home turn. But Hubbard should lead them out. Figueira starts to wind up. Hubbard looking a little tired. Coming through in the middle is Alexia Luzau from Mornington Peninsula, but it's all Sophie Figueira. Challenging now. Hubbard's got to hang on. It's the first 3. So the first 3, Alexia Luzau, Figueira, and Hubbard will proceed to the final. Good finish from Jessica Gooley-Nance. She'll have to wait until we have all the times in the very fast computer system, but a good run from 2 athletes from Mornington Peninsula, Alexia Luzau, Sophie Figueira, and of course Kendra Hubbard. So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our track and field program. As we mentioned, a great way to finish it off with Sophia Figueira taking out the second semi-final. We invite you to join us again tomorrow for all the finals action commencing at 9 o'clock. Just a reminder, check-in will open 1 hour before, and you must check in for all of your events. So Tim, great run from Sophia Figueira to take out that last heat. It's going to be an interesting final. Jess Gooley-Nance might miss out. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Interestingly, Figueira, now that we're there with, I think they're down with Matt Carter, those girls and Alexia Luzau as well, they're running a lot of pro work, and combined with Hubbard, who's a regular on the VAL scene, you could see that came through the chase, and I really liked Figueira's run there because just sitting onto the outside, she just didn't give up and just kept going.
Well, look forward to having your company tomorrow. All the action starts at 9 o'clock here from Lakeside Stadium. On behalf of co-commentator Tim Crosby, this is Glenn Turner saying goodbye, and we'll see you tomorrow.